Summon Sign is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our show, go to patreon.com/laststandmedia. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 17 of Summon Sign. I say the wrong number too many times. I highlighted it in green in my notes just because I keep messing it up. Last Stand Media's weekly in-depth gaming discussion podcast. I'm your host, as always, Brad Ellis, and joining me this week are Lord Cognito. Good to have you back. Love having you on the show. Looking nice in his new, or I don't know if it's new, but his State of Decay hoodie.
Yeah, we got the old school State of Decay. Shout out to Under Lazarus when 2 dropped. One of my favorite hoodies, by the way. It's so
it looks
cozy.
nice. Yeah, it looks really nice.
Thank you. Good to be summoned back to the Summon Sign.
Oh, yeah.
Brad and my man, Gene.
Yes, sir. Yes, and Gene Park joining us as always. Glad, or not always, but frequent. Gene's gaming hard, so I love having Gene on. What's up, Gene?
How's it going? I'm fresh from the 420 celebrations over the weekend.
Yeah.
I had stopped by the National Cannabis Festival here in Washington D.C. Picked up this hat right here, Park Hill. Wu-Tang Clan was the headlining act. I did not stick around for Wu-Tang. In fact, I was.
Damn.
They were going to come on late, and
I got you.
I didn't want to stay out late. You know.
Mm-hmm.
How many people are in Wu-Tang now?
Well, originally was 9 members, and then
I know.
ODB, but and then they got so many damn affiliates. It's hard to keep track.
Yeah, it's rotating. Like it's like the X-Men, you know. There's the West Coast team and the East Coast team, you know.
That's so true.
There's gold and blue, Wu-Tang gold and blue, you know.
Facts, yes, sir.
So, what was the festival, Gene? Everyone just smoking or partying?
Yeah,
what was going on?
Yeah, it's just a bunch of. It's like a weed con, basically.
Whoa,
you know, outdoors,
crazy.
but like a bunch of vendors from like all over the country and fucking Canada and shit. I definitely had to smoke the nicest kush from Toronto. I haven't smoked anything since I had my lung issue last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to just quit. But you know, and my doctors say, you know, I can just keep smoking weed. It's fine. Just as long as I stay away from cigarettes and vaping, you know, and nicotine generally, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But you know, I just wanted to give my lungs a break after 30 years of
smoking,
of torching it, you know. But I figured it's 420. There's a lot of cool people out. I figured, you know, why not buy something straight from Toronto and smoke it a little bit and enjoy it. Yeah, there's music going on. Yeah, just people smoking weed. There were different tents with different experiences, you know, different panel talks even, you know.
Whoa.
And it was just like a weed con. People dressed up in weed in their weed gear and, you know.
Cosplaying weed?
Cosplaying different strains of weed and shit.
Yeah.
And it's stupid because, you know, in DC, you know, you still can't legally buy weed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, you can't because we're run by Congress. Federal laws still apply here, and Congress can lift it up anytime they want. And like weed is legal here. I can smoke it. I can carry it around it. I can walk around with it in my hands. But I can't. You can't buy it anywhere. You can't sell it anywhere. So
weird.
Yeah. So look, the only way you can really go about it is go into a store and then say you're buying a T-shirt, and they'll give you weed with the T-shirt.
That's really funny, dude.
Yeah. So
awesome.
So it's just a bunch of white T-shirts, like Hanes white T-shirts, like no kind that you would just get, you know, by the bundle or whatever. Then they're just giving those away. You know,
man. Loopholes like that are so funny.
It's so stupid. I've been doing this for 9 years, bro. Like in DC, you know, I'm still not buying weed like a fucking adult. You know, like I'm still going around like you know, with around these loopholes, buying T-shirts and little knickknacks and shit, and like, you know, and I was buying weed from this lawyer for most of the time, you know, because you can grow your own weed, and that's also applied too. And so yeah, I just bought it from this lawyer for like how many years already, you know.
A lawyer.
He became a good buddy of mine. But yeah, it was one of the first things I did when I moved to DC. Because when I was applying to the Washington Post, you get drug tested, you know?
Yes.
And I was smoking so much weed in Hawaii. Come on, you know?
Yeah, of course.
So as I was applying to the Washington Post, it was like a several month process. And as I was like advancing, I was like, oh, they're actually liking me. I think I need to stop smoking weed because this whole scheme might actually work. I might get into mainstream news. And then so I quit smoking for a couple of weeks, and then finally I got the job, and I'm like, oh man, am I gonna get drug tested? Like, yeah, sure enough, I'm gonna get drug tested. So, I remembered my roommate in college was in college on scholarship for fencing. He was a fencer.
Cool.
Yeah. He knew how to sword fight. And then one day on 420 in year 2001 or 2002 or whatever, we were like, dude, just smoke this blunt, dude. Come on, man. It's just a blunt. It's totally fine. And then he got so lifted, he ended up throwing up. And we were playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 all night. And he was throwing up, and he was so high, but he was feeling great, right?
That's
the
so
next
funny.
fucking day, his fencing coach was like, all right, guys, drug tests.
He cursed y'all out.
God, dude.
He cursed y'all out.
He came home, and he was so fucking pissed at me, dude. He was like, fuck you, Gene. What the fuck? He was like, dude, it's not like your coach called me and like said, hey, you know, make sure Roland gets a little bit of that devil's lettuce tonight, you know?
Yeah.
So what he did was we went to Albertsons and we bought like a bunch of cranberry juice, and he sat in the sauna for like an hour, like hours, and he started running, and he drank all this cranberry juice, and he ended up his piss was so clean that he needed to take it again, and he was like, okay, well, that's fine.
Wow.
You know? He's official.
So I did that exact same thing for the Washington Post. I ended up going to the sauna. I ended up running. I bought a bunch of cranberry juice. I went to take the piss test. Sure enough, the exact same result. It was too clean, bro.
Too clean.
They were like, we know you did something to your pee because this is just pure water and cranberry juice.
Oh man, they got my mans.
So I was like, do it again. And I was like, oh fuck, all right, I'll do it again. And then the pee was normal this time. And you know what sucked though is that this was the whole time when Bloodborne came out. And so the whole time I was like, I can't be high and be playing Bloodborne. This is torture for me. Torture. It was torture.
It's hilarious.
So when I finally moved to DC, I got the job. Everything was clear. I went out to the park. I just started asking random people. I was like, "You got weed? Are you selling weed?" And then that's how I found my lawyer buddy. And he was like, "Oh yeah, I grow." And I was like, "Oh cool, okay. Well, can I buy some?" And that's how a beautiful friendship started.
The connection started.
I got my bag. I went home and I fired up Bloodborne, and I was in pure heaven.
Nice.
That is sick.
I was playing Bloodborne sober for like the whole time. It was crazy.
That's really funny. I don't really smoke, but I remember the first time I ever did, a long time ago. The game I played for the very first time smoking was Halo 2.
Hell yeah,
multiplayer,
dude.
And it was so fun.
All the colors and the lasers and everything, and the music going off. You know,
it was so good. Yeah, it was awesome. Like that was like the perfect first time experience, dude.
It's so funny you say that because the video game that made me realize the perfect combination of weed and video games was Halo. It was Halo 1. When I was playing Halo 1 on the original Xbox, and like the music was going off, and like, you know, like Halo 1 had the surround sound. So I had surround sound headphones back in like 2000 whatever. And I was just like, oh man, I am immersed in this experience. I feel like I'm on the Halo, you know?
Yeah. Man,
Halo chance was hitting.
Yeah, when Halo 1 came out, what a showpiece that game was. Good Lord.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Dude, Cog, what have you been up to, man? I haven't talked to you for a little bit. What's going on with you and the Dukes? You got Hellblade coming up, you're telling me a little bit earlier. Excited for that?
Yeah, man, super excited for that. There's been so many damn games, man. So I mean, that, and then it's like, okay, you know, I was working with Warhorse Studios. I was actually, under the NDA for a little bit because then they just now revealed Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which I got a chance to see a while ago.
Cool.
And I'm like, for them, it's really kind of like full circle because IOP they went viral because we actually shined their light on Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 when it was like in Kickstarter and no one really knew about it. And we were like, look, this is like Skyrim. It's realistic, but it's realistic. You got to eat, you got to drink, do all stuff. And then it kind of blew up. And then it was kind of one of our first viral videos. So it was so cool for them to reach out and say, hey, we want to do something, let you know what we're working on. So we're like, oh, okay, it's time. So, KCD2. And then which was cool was what's going on now was No Rest for the Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
They asked us for permission to use my reaction because I knew immediately. I was like, that's Boom Studios. That's Ori. That's the people that made Ori. I was like, I know what this is. And for whatever, I got so excited. They was like, can we use your reaction clip for one of our montages? I was like, absolutely. So we'll play a little bit of that and then getting ready. Summer Game Fest, all that stuff's coming up. And usually me and the Lords, we kind of go out there, usually to the Xbox showcases.
Yeah.
We try to do. So, we're trying to plan around that. So it's going to be a lot of travel that. And the last thing has been a lot of esports for me, just learning the culture and stuff. I'm going to this thing called DreamHack.
I've heard of that.
Oh, see, I didn't know about this.
Yeah, I've heard of this. Yeah.
Completely oblivious to this. So for me, I'm old. So I come from the arcade competitive scene. These kids, man, they're beasts. And I met one of the top Fortnite players. I met one of the top, Tekken and Street Fighter players. And so apparently this DreamHack is like one of the Super Bowl kind of events that they're doing in Dallas. So I'll be out there at the end of the month. But so it's a lot of travel, a lot of stuff going on. And like I was telling you, I got a whole bunch of half-eaten sandwiches. I still got to beat Final Fantasy VII Remake. I still got a bunch of things I got to complete. And then Hellblade's coming, which I'm super excited
for.
So you still got to finish Remake or Rebirth?
No, he meant Rebirth.
Rebirth is big. I finished Remake been done, but I meant to say Rebirth. I was like halfway through. I got to get that done. So everything is critical this month to complete so that I'm ready for May.
Yeah. Yeah, you're a busy man, but it sounds like you got a lot of stuff going on. I hope... So I was at Summer Game Fest last year with Keeley. I did their E3 thing or whatever. Yep, I hope you get... you were there? I didn't even... I wish I knew you.
Oh, we didn't know each other at the time. I was there. Bro, I was like front row. They had me on camera. I was like, oh.
I meant it's like the mini E3 thing. Did you get to go to that?
Afterward.
Yeah.
Oh, you went to the event after.
Yeah.
No. Okay. I went to the actual show itself.
Oh, okay.
And then you went to when you actually cover it and get the chance to play.
Yeah.
And all. Yeah. I didn't get, what I ended up doing was, I didn't get that, but I was able to go to the Microsoft where they had the showcase. The direct,
yeah.
Garfield was direct.
Cool.
I was there for that.
That's cool, yeah. Dude, I hope you get to do that. Yeah, what's up?
Now that you're out there, you can do Summer Game Fest coverage for us at LSM.
Well, maybe.
I don't know. Keely, if you get invited.
Yeah, for Last Stand Media, I don't think we would get invited.
You don't think Keely's going to what, Last Stand Media?
I don't know. Well, if I go as Last Stand Media, Colin's kind of anti all that stuff. I mean, I would totally do it. I've done it so many times, and I would love to do it for Last Stand. And we're awesome, right? They got to know that we know our shit, so we got to get out there.
I mean, I get invited.
Oh, I know.
I know I got other things going on, but still.
Yeah, of course, dude. But yeah, you're also legit. I hope you get to go Cog for our you boys. You'd be great for that. It'd be awesome. Yeah. Oh man,
that's the problem with us three Last Stand Media boys here in particular, because it's like we got nothing to do with anything, man.
He's like, we don't know about all this past beef.
Yeah, I'm not involved.
The three of us here in particular, all three of us.
That's a great point, G. That is actually a great point.
Yeah,
we're the neutrals.
We're just along for the ride, man. We're having a good time,
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Exactly. All that other stuff, I was like, I don't get it. But I was like, I rock with Colin. He been good to me, so I don't play none of that foolishness.
He's been the best boss man I've ever had. He's so great. Gives me so much freedom. It's awesome.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, part of the joy is just working with everyone at LSM, dude. Everyone's the best. So I was telling Cog a little bit before. It's like, I love everyone at this company. It's so great. No drum in this company. Nothing like that. Yep. Just fun. Good shit. Everyone just loves games and loves talking. That's what I love.
Love games. That's what it's about.
Yeah, guys. But I was telling Cog a little bit of this earlier, but this weekend I got to see my brother. I haven't seen him in person for a year and a half because he lives in Minnesota. He's in school to be an endodontist right now. He's almost done.
What is that?
So that's all root canal specialization.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So he was a dentist. Then he went to school for 2 more years. So he went to school out there, but there was some dental convention or something down in LA. So he came down here. It was just fucking sick, dude. Went to some breweries with him, all that stuff. Just hung out.
Oh, nice.
We saw this Beetlejuice play. I guess it was on Broadway. We like went to it yesterday with my dad. I had never seen like a play before, like a Broadway play before. It was interesting.
No kidding. You never seen a Broadway production before?
No. Like we've never been like big theater people. I guess my family just never done it. I don't got anything against them or anything like that. I just never went. But it was an experience, man. I gotta say, my favorite part about like plays is just like the sets and the costumes and how crazy and efficient they are, just putting everything out really quickly. It's so awesome. And of course, everyone's very talented singing. But yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's dope, man. That's a big New York thing. The play, the
I know, dude.
Yeah, DC here too. We got a lot of that going on. You know, I got to see Mean Girls, the Broadway musical.
That's so funny, dude. I didn't know there was that.
Yeah, I got to meet Tina Fey and everything too. She was actually
that's
here.
Cool.
So
there's like a Broadway for everything. Is there a Broadway like video game thing? How have we not gotten there yet?
No, there should be, and that's what Keeley was trying to do with The Last of Us. Remember, he did that performance of The Last of Us where Troy Baker and Ashley on stage.
Yeah,
I do remember.
And they did that with PlayStation officially, I think.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the closest thing we've ever seen to like a video game musical that's like officially produced by a video game company.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, I feel like a video game musical will be near Automata. You know,
Nier popped in my head immediately.
Nier did have that stage performance literally.
Yeah, in Japan they have stuff like that.
Nice.
And two, like I think Nier Automata in general could actually be adapted really, really powerfully and really, really well as a stage play. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I know.
Even with some audience involvement in there too. You know.
Oh yeah. That out. Breaking the fourth wall definitely was some stuff like that.
Oh my god,
I know in Japan they had like a Kabuki Final Fantasy X thing going on there for a while. I think those are very long too.
That'd be sick.
Long time, but yeah, that would be. It's like, why can't we get that shit here? Yeah.
Even like a Final Fantasy musical too would be amazing. You know, I mean, obviously 6 is already musical in it itself, but 7 could be a musical. Imagine how operatic Sephiroth could be. And
when that Sephiroth,
like just the character itself, and then of course you're going to be playing one winged angel at the end, and the final climax of the musical. Come on, dude. And then you got the Sephiroth actor, the floating down as Safer Sephiroth, on strings and everything. Dude, we gotta make this right now. I gotta call my Broadway friends. I have no Broadway friends, but I gotta make some.
We gotta make some Broadway friends. Yeah, we gotta make this shit happen.
I see the visual.
That's my next life right now. Gene Park, Broadway producer for Final Fantasy VII.
Fire. Let's go.
Watch it be like Borderlands Broadway or something first. That'll be the first thing that comes out or something random like that. Just like, okay.
Some stupid shit fucking random. Because Randy Pitchford is the only person like that's ballsy enough to.
He's fucking in it, dude, or something. Yeah. He's Handsome Jack or something, man. That'd be hilarious.
Sorry, fucking Kevin Hart.
Oh my God.
Yo, that would be wild.
Yes, that would be awesome. Holy shit. All right, boys. Before we get in the show, please check us out on patreon.com/SandMedia if you want to support us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for leaving comments on the shows, all that good stuff. We read all those comments. We appreciate all those good reviews. They do help us. So shout out everybody. Thank you for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. All right, boys, we got some more questions. This is from Not Your Mom. All right, Gene. Everyone wants to know, who has the better ass, 2B or Eve? Don't let graphic fidelity cloud your judgment. And to everyone else, who has the best ass in gaming? All right, Gene. What say you? It's a tough question.
It is a tough question, because Eve is a powerful contender in the greatest ass in video games competition. I will say that I have a large preference for 2Bs, but though.
Everyone does. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean it's just rounder. It's more of a peach, you know.
Yeah, plump, very nice.
Yeah, Eve is off. As I'm clearing my throat, you know. Eve is very like muscular and like she's like a giraffe. She's like a gazelle, you know.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But 2Bs is like a pillow. I'm getting way too like detailed.
No, these are important details.
Yeah, but
the audience wants to know.
Eve is like a gazelle. She's obviously like way. She seems like way taller, closer to Bayonetta, right? So Bayonetta and Eve's ass are pretty similar, you know.
Yeah.
And they're both like giant. Dude, Eve's ass is so huge. It's I can finally talk about Stellar Blade because embargo lifts today.
Yeah,
I was just about to say.
So the reason why the reason why Summon Sign is Brad, do you want to talk about why Summon Sign is here today?
Oh yeah, so if you're listening for patrons, the first date's out. This is out on Wednesday instead of Monday this time, just because we delayed it so Gene could talk fully about Stellar Blade. The embargo's up today, and we thought it'd be a good idea to wait it. I'm fine with delaying the show a few days if it's going to make the show itself better. So yes, and I want to hear Gene's thoughts about Stellar Blade. I'm sure everyone does.
Yeah, so I was talking about Eve's ass, right?
Yes. Eve compared to 2B, yeah. Or your favorite ass in gaming.
And compared to Bayonetta too. Yeah, very, very slender butts. But surely there's some other questions about Stellar Blade.
Oh, yeah. This is just warm-up stuff. We're not into the Stellar Blade topic yet.
Yeah, I like, where do I even start with Stellar Blade? You know?
We'll get into it. Fear not. I'll tell you when. But just the gaming. So we'll settle on 2B for now.
Okay, yeah. So 2B. Also, like, I like the presentation of the butt, and it kind of goes back into, you know, the Eve doesn't have the personality to back up her sexuality, whereas Bayonetta and 2B does. And to be fair, there is a point to that. Whereas like 2B, you know, the main outfit and like the way it's animated and the way the jump is, you know, the little flashes you get from the little twirls you get, like that's just a lot more like titillating, to be quite honest. You know? And
shout out to the titillation.
Yeah,
but Eve's design is very interesting though too, because she's got that super long ponytail that just goes straight down her back, like right down her spine, like covering just her ass crack. So it gives. I'm talking like aesthetically, like there's a beautiful like symmetry there in terms of like the angel wings coming off from the back of her shoulder blades,
right?
And then the ponytail right in the middle. So like it really does kind of like shape like her silhouette, you know. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. It's actually she's a beautiful character, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Analysis.
Cog, what about some of those Tekken girls? Who do you think?
Oh man, Tekken. They got a couple of joints. I'm actually go back though. I'm surprised y'all. I'm gonna go back to one of my favorite games of all time, Mass Effect 2, Miranda Lawson.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Because Miranda, it was such a thing at the time that when the trilogy, the remake just came out, when they redid all three EA, they removed certain scenes where she would talk to Shepard from the rear view. You would only see her. Right. Mm-hmm. And young men knew we loved those scenes.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, in this climate, they were like, wait a minute, it's a little too much. Yeah. She had that, that white and black outfit.
Oh, yeah.
Very form-fitting.
That outfit was amazing, though.
Everyone knows.
That outfit was everything. A lot of young boys were inspired.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so she's.
And you get to sleep with her in the game too, so that's like something else, you know.
You took my point. I was literally see what took Mass Effect to the next level. People don't want to admit it, but the fact that you could have relationships with these characters, you know what I'm saying? What was the engineer girl? Oh man, with a Quarian race, I forgot her name. She was another one that people really liked. You know what I'm saying? So that's what took Mass Effect to the next level. Those BioWare early games kind of thing. So yeah, I gotta shout her out, Miranda Lawson, and damn, why am I blanking on the Quarian character?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Why am I blanking on it? This is one of my favorite games, and I'm blanking on her name. And you had that. You had Jack as well. So salute to Mass Effect 2 that would help grooming young men across the galaxy.
Shout out to all the Soul Calibur ladies too.
Oh, Ivy
legendary cheeks. Yeah, everyone knows. Everyone knows. Shout out to those girls. All right, guys, we have a little game here also. This is from Jared R. Hey guys. This is a warm-up game. The internet loves to obsess over women's bodies. Lately, this can be especially seen in the way the internet acts about two prominent women in pop culture, Eve from Stellar Blade and Sydney Sweeney. So let's play a little game of Eve or Sweeney. The rules are simple. I will read out a tweet, a snippet of an article, or some form of internet writing, and the guests simply need to say if it's about Eve or Sweeney.
I saw this
Right.
comment. Fortunately,
Yeah.
I forgot. Fortunately, I forgot the answers, but this was good.
Okay,
This was a good
beautiful.
one.
All
Yeah.
right, we're gonna start off. These can be kind of obvious, so some of them maybe we'll see what you guys think. A character, a quote, a character staring into the void without a thought in her head is no more compelling just because she has a large butt. End quote.
It's gotta be Eve, right?
Yeah, it's a beef, right?
That's Eve. That is Eve from The Gamer.
Nice.
All right.
Can I just say that it's crazy that there's all this like prognosticating about like Stellar Blade
Mm-hmm.
when no one's played it, you know?
Yeah.
There was just that news item right now that just broke out today, or I guess last night, when EA's general manager in Japan got mad that Stellar Blade got approved for no censorship,
No censorship,
violence,
Really?
when they had to censor Dead Space, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, Dead Space is entirely a game about decapitating human-like people. You don't do that in Stellar Blade at all. Period.
Yeah, I think that's like a big thing in Japan. Like decapitation is very intense.
Yeah, one girl gets her arm cut off. That's
Yeah.
not a spoiler. That's literally in
That's
the
the
demo.
very beginning of the game.
It
Yeah,
happens in the first 2 minutes of the game. So
yeah,
that's pretty much what happens.
yeah. The game's
the whole time you're fighting monsters. But
Yeah.
so it's just insane that everyone has like this idea about what Stellar Blade is, and it's like, it's kind of like the Joker, like the Joker movie. Everyone thought that, oh my god, this movie is going to be so controversial. People are going to be fucking shooting up theaters. How could we be re-releasing this? You know,
right? Yeah,
like,
I do remember that.
Yeah. So like, yeah, the Stellar Blade Deranged syndrome that this comment is commenting on is it's good. You know, it's fascinating.
Yeah, totally. All right, next one. Here we go. It's a common phenomenon, really. Blank is beautiful now and would be considered in so many eras, but because she's no longer the only type of woman who's considered beautiful, certain people on the right think they're being oppressed and the world has gone to hell.
Definitely Sweeney.
Sweetie.
Yeah, definitely. You got it.
Mhm.
I don't know who that's from. That must be just a Twitter comment. All right, next one. The outfit is hot, and and blank is hot. So, of course, people were being horny on main. But while sex sells, beauty is pain.
Oh, this was a little tricky.
Yeah, it's a little tricky.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Eve.
Just based on the initial shock value for some.
Oh, it's Eve. That is from Kotaku.
Ooh.
All right, here we go. For anyone under the age of 25, they've likely never seen a person like blank in their lifetime.
It's gotta be Sweeney, right? Just because of the.
What do you think, Gene?
I guess Sweeney.
That's right. Yeah,
that's so weird that there's no other booby girl that's been hot in the last 10 years.
Blown up. Yeah, just caught on zeitgeist, man.
It's so bizarre. And there was that gentleman that was wearing the Sydney Sweeney shirt at last time he live. But it's so bizarre.
Yo, that was funny.
It's so bizarre how Sydney Sweeney in particular has broken people's brains.
Yeah, she's that girl right now, dude.
Guys, just jerk off over her. It's fine. It's just do
let it off. Gotta let it off. Yo, you lost. Brad lost it.
just get it out of your system, guys.
Just get it out.
Dude.
No one makes me.
We used to do this shit all the time when we were kids, man. You know, Alyssa Milano. She's like the liberal, like goddess of victory out there. She's like Nike, goddess of victory, but for liberals out there. But dude, she was in all kinds of like erotic movies back then. You know, and like guys like us, we used to just trade those videos all the time, you know. So it's fine, you know. There's no, you can just it's fine. She knows what she's doing too, you know.
Dude, no one makes me laugh harder than Gene on any of our shows, dude.
Yeah, because he's just she's just raw with it. That's what I like about him.
Chris is a naturally funny guy and he's so good, but Gene just says the funniest shit and just makes me laugh, dude.
Yes,
especially hilarious. In our Rebirth spoiler mode. Gene had like the best comment ever I've ever heard. It's so good. There's a short of it if you want to see it out there. It's so good. All right, here we go. Blank removed the agency of the character while sexualizing her, so it ends up being distracting. When blank girlfriend gets stabbed to death, both their breasts are moving like water balloons, creating a weird tone in the scene.
I guess that's Eve.
Because I didn't play the joint, so I wouldn't know. Yeah. Whew, if I had to guess, yeah, I guess I'm gonna go with Eve on this one. But
That's right. You boys are killing it. All right, last one. Oh, no, that's it. This is just a comment from them. I hope we all learn to just maybe accept that hot women exist and not being weird by obsessing over their bodies versus the art they are in. Thank you, gents, and have a great day. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
no doubt.
We got just a funny comment. So in this show, we're going to talk about Final Fantasy XVI, the DLC, and Michael Thew wrote in, and I think he thought I wrote Final Fantasy 14 instead of 16 because they're easy to mix up, but I'm just going to read this comment because he talks about a game I love, so I'm just giving him a shout out. Here we go. Guess it isn't really a question, but it's cool you're giving Final Fantasy 11 some love. I jumped on it the other day.
14?
11. I jumped on it the day it came out, and boy, talk about a tough but rewarding game. Took months to get a chocobo. One trash mob would kill you. Early in the game's life, mobs wouldn't despawn, and you'd see trains of mobs and scores of dead bodies in front of the crawler's nest. Because if you raised in town, it was a 10% deduction in XP. I picked up a couple of and here we go. We quickly jump. I picked up a couple of months of Final Fantasy 14 a week ago. I'm halfway through Stormblood expansion. It's a great time, but you'll never have that sense of accomplishment as when you get that final chest key, so you can finally get the Kazam airship pass, or when the Black Mage hits a huge burst off a skill chain, or successfully camping a notorious monster after hours of waiting. I remember seeing Juno for the first time when all you heard were stories about it for months. I came back to it probably 10 years ago, and though the magic was kind of gone, though. So I guess there was a time and place for me, but I am enjoying my time with Final Fantasy 14. Take it easy, dude, Mike. Yeah, I don't know where this like Final Fantasy 11 talk came in or anything like that, or 14, but I was like, well, I love Final Fantasy 11, so I'm just going to throw this in there. Just
nice.
Shout out. Yeah. Dude, Michael.
Oh, damn, you played 11 too. Wow. 11
I played it when it came out on PS2 the first day. I didn't have a PC that I could play games on at the time, so I bought that big box that came with their hard drive external. It was a magical time.
Yeah. 11 is the only one I've never touched, period.
Oh, really? Gene, I still play it. Like, I resub maybe once a year and go back to it just to play. Because I'm doing the expansions. I'm just going through the stories right now.
Yeah, a buddy of mine was really, really hooked on it. Like, he spent like thousands and thousands of hours on it.
It was such good.
I believe that it was good.
Yeah. It's super archaic now, but it was awesome back then. All right, Gene, it's time. Stellar Blade, you have completed this game. Everyone wants to know about this game, what's about, and your thoughts. Gene, please tell us about Stellar Blade. Yeah,
well, I'll just tell you all straight up. Stellar Blade is good. It's very, very good, actually.
Excellent.
But it'll it took me a while at least for me to realize that it was really, really good. Because the first few hours is a lot like the demo. Little bit slow pace, little variety of like platforming and puzzle solving and everything. Have you guys played the demo?
Yeah, I did the demo.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So it's pretty much like that for the first few hours, and it's a little slow, and you don't unlock the skill tree quite quickly. This is one of those games where the game just gets better once you unlock more moves, and I hate that. I actually wish that we could change that game design somehow, where like the most fun stuff is unlocked away towards the back half of the game in terms of like the move set and everything. Because once you unlock the full moveset, oh my god, Stellar Blade feels
all
amazing.
The dodges and stuff.
Yeah, all the different dodges and everything. That blink and repulse are what it's called. So blink is when you see a blue spark attack coming up, you press up and circle, and then repulse is when you see a pink spark come up in the attack, press back and circle. And both of these dodges will attack, counterattack, and also provide a different opportunity for a follow-up combo or an attack as well. But it's really the combo, the combat that really makes this game feel so amazing. People have been confused about whether it's more like Devil May Cry / Bayonetta / a character action game, like God of War also as well, or whether it's a Sekiro or maybe a Souls-like, right? It's really a fusion of both. But I think it leans a little bit closer to Sekiro Souls-like. Definitely more Sekiro. This is not a game where you can grind to get better attack. Eventually, you'll find better attack upgrades, but those are basically doled out in sequence. You'll find the upgrades for them in certain treasure chests or by defeating certain enemies, but it's always the same enemy in the same treasure chest, right? So that will be in sequence. So as you're going along the game, you're just upgrading, and some of these upgrades are completely missable. I believe the max amount of heals you can get, like in Souls, you get your Estus flask, obviously, right? So like in Dark Souls 1, you'll get 10 heals per quote unquote bonfire, right, between the saves. In Stellar Blade, you start with 3 between each save or campsite. The campsite basically acts as a bonfire where it respawns the enemies, and you can, basically respawn your health and level up and everything. But then my boy Fighting Cowboy, who on YouTube, who makes all these amazing walkthroughs. He is super great at completing games. He ended a game with 8 heals. I ended a game with 5 heals, bro. So I missed quite a bit of upgrades by the end of the game. But yeah, the combat is very, very. There's not a lot of Souls rolls combat where you're trying to take advantage of iframes and everything. The iframes, I think, are very, very tight, if they exist at all. Like, you just can't get hit, but it's very much a little bit like Sekiro, where you're kind of holding your ground. The fights will kind of stay place where both enemies both combatants are just kind of holding the ground and exchanging blows, and you're looking for different opportunities to attack. One thing I love about Stellar Blade is that when you actually hit an enemy, they react. They will be like, there's enemy reactions to your hits. Whereas in Dark Souls, that doesn't really happen. And even in Sekiro, I don't think it happens in Dark Souls often. Sometimes you get staggered, right?
Yeah, if you like poise break them or something, some heavier hits can do it. But it's
exactly,
not every hit.
Exactly. It's a mechanic. It's poise that you can level up, right? And here it's just when they're getting hit, they'll get hit and they'll recover.
Oh, okay.
And it's interesting, and it makes the combat feel heavy. So people keep saying that Stellar Blade feels slow. I don't think it feels slow. It'll feel slow, especially at the beginning, especially when you're just trying to move a character and she's not sprinting at all. The sprint will be plenty fast for everybody, eventually, when you're sprinting all over the battleground. But it's not slow. It's heavy. Her ass, it adds a lot of weight for sure. Like it's interesting because it really does feel like her ass is like kind of like a pendulum, because I feel like I'm controlling the ass, anything else, because it's just kind of like, again, it's sticking put there, right? And I'm keeping her ass to the ground, to making sure that I'm holding my ground. The fights are happening. And even when I'm doing these blink and repulse things, like I'm just like boomerang her around. Like it feels like there's weight to it, where I'm just like swinging this girl around this battlefield, as opposed to her sliding around like a Bayonetta or Raiden in Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, right? Those characters you're sliding all around, and in Dark Souls you're rolling around. In Stellar Blade, you are either holding your ground or you're kind of being flung around. You're flinging her around, the enemy, and it feels really, really good and unique. And it turns out Stellar Blade is its own game. It has its own kind of flavor, and it's really, really interesting. The combat is very, very addictive. The first few enemies and the first few boss fights. So for a while, I'm giving this game 3 stars, right? For a while, this game was at 2.5 stars for a long, long time.
Interesting.
Because the enemies weren't that interesting at the beginning, and the boss fights weren't that interesting, right? The enemy attacks were good, right?
Yeah.
The enemy attacks were good, but the boss design wasn't that great. And then you get halfway point, and then you hit a boss design that's like, oh, well, that's cool. That was a cool boss, right? And then you see the next boss, so it was like, oh wait, that was a cool boss too. And the moves are amazing, and the background was amazing. And then you hit a level, and it's like, oh, the setting in this level is really, really interesting. This came out of nowhere. And then the boss at that level, oh, this is fucking amazing. At a halfway point, the bosses just get cooking. Like every single boss in the halfway point is fucking amazing. Actually, really amazing. I have a save at the last boss because and I fight the last boss because I like fighting the last boss. The last boss is so much fun to fight.
Wow.
Yeah.
So these are just really, really fun fights. I couldn't believe it. I was ready to be like, okay, well, this is a good game, but you know, it's got some growing to do, right? And it still does have some growing to do. I have a lot of criticisms, but these guys really know how to make a good action game, and they cooked hard, especially with the last bosses. And the story itself is nothing to write home about. If you're familiar with any kind of sci-fi modern story at all, you're gonna predict every single story beat here. And the writing is not that great until it gets towards the end, and it starts to come together. And the ending is good, actually. I ended. Everything was predictable, but it ended in a way that was pretty satisfying, and I'm actually pretty intrigued to see where they go from here in terms of the gameplay and the story. 3 stars. Great game, great exclusive. It's going to have a lot of fans, I think.
Yeah. So let's talk about.
Please guide me to whatever questions you might have about stuff.
Cog, you can go first.
This is a surprisingly large game too.
Really?
There are different gameplay modes. The first level, the demo shows like a level kind of structure, right? Like a Dark Souls. Then the game becomes open world for a bit.
Really?
There's just an open area. There's just an open zone, like fucking Sonic Frontiers. All of a sudden, you know. Okay. I'm always going to be referencing Sonic Frontiers yeah. By the way, I'm always going to just be referencing Sonic Frontiers as my open world example, not Ubisoft, not Breath of the Wild.
Sonic Frontiers, yeah.
Not Breath of the Wild, not Ubisoft, not Far Cry, Sonic Frontiers, baby.
Oh man, that's funny.
I guess my question was like in reference to like the combat. You said like you really enjoyed, you know, some boss fights specifically. Were they like, is it heavy mechanic based with some of the fights, or like like cinematic? Is like what's the vibe on some of the bosses that you enjoy?
Very, very mechanical, not cinematic at all. The cinematics, like if you think this is gonna be like an Uncharted or a God of War, right? Where like all the story shit is happening, like oh my god, look at Thor and Kratos flying in the air, and like all the shit. No, that doesn't happen. You're both your asses are on the ground and you are hitting each other as hard as you fucking can, and that's the fight. And then there's going to be really, really satisfying like kill moves that could trigger, and that could happen depending on whether you basically block every single attack. If you perfect parry a long combo, and some of these combos get crazy. Like you got that perfect parry 7 fucking hits or 10 hits in a row. And then when you do that, the enemy will be completely staggered, and you can hit triangle and then just go in for like a massive critical visceral hit, basically like Bloodborne hit.
Yeah,
right?
That's really rewarding. I like that.
Very, very rewarding. Yeah,
a big reward. That's cool.
Yeah, huge combo, and you'll know the windups are actually very, very telegraphed well. When I'm like, oh shit, they're about to go into their 10 hit. Let me square up. Let me make sure that my L1 finger is ready. Bang, 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 clang, triangle, and then you just hit the critical. Ooh, feels so crunchy and good. So good. Nice. So it's a little bit like Sekiro, right? Where you're parrying and you're dropping their kind of what was it called in Sekiro?
Like their poise meter or whatever.
Poise meter or whatever. Yeah. The stamina or whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So Gene, you said something that very is pleasing to me. I think with games like this, impact is such a huge key component. Like things have to feel good to hit. It has to feel good to parry. Sekiro, the champ at it, of course. But that sounds really good to me, Gene. But I am curious about, you said you got some problems with the game. What do you got? What's going on with this? What needs to work?
Yeah, when you're not fighting, the game is trying to figure out what it's trying to be. Is it a platformer? The platforming. Did you feel the platforming in Stellar Blade? Remember when she's jumping across the little things? How did that feel to you? Not great, right?
It's like fine. Like it's nothing special. Nothing stand out about it.
That's a lot. That's quite a lot of the game right there.
Okay.
You know, where
serviceable,
it's like,
I guess. Yeah.
It's serviceable. It's a little boring. The puzzles aren't that great, honestly. They're fine. again, I'm going to bring up Sonic Frontiers.
Please do.
They have similar puzzles, yo.
No way, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because I on Twitter last week I bitched about laser puzzles. You know the laser puzzles where there's one source of laser and you got to move certain fucking shits around to make the laser reflect across a certain pattern or whatever like that. That's in this game. You know. Do you like BioShock pipe dream hacking mini games? That's in this game.
Really? Huh.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's one. But it just came out of nowhere. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, okay. so it's just like you can tell that this is clearly their first AAA game because they're just kind of throwing a lot of other shit that's been in other AAA games.
Right.
And it's like, okay, well, this was interesting in this game, so why don't we try this here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone made fun of the vacuum of the Mako at the beginning
Rebirth,
of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo. There's a lot of that kind of gameplay here too. Quite a lot of it. A lot of block pushing. A lot of like, why don't I navigate this here? Very, very old school the action adventure game design. Not that interesting. Fortunately, the environments that these are happening in are actually pretty fun to navigate. You know.
Okay.
Despite the platforming isn't that great. There's not a lot of it. You know. It's just there. You know.
Yeah.
And it's not frustrating. The puzzles themselves aren't even that frustrating. Some of them are really, really easy. Some of them are so dumb, and you just feel dumb for not figuring it out early. And then there are side quests, and the side quests are poorly written. There's really nothing going on. Again, the story isn't that great, so the lore isn't that great to me. I'm not really that. It's very generic. Like, oh my god, the world is so terrible, and like, where's our backup? The backup's never coming. I'm dead now. You know, very, very generic. Like, you know, post-apocalypse writing. The side quest is like, hey, I need this thing, and then you go get a thing. Fortunately, you know, getting the thing usually involves fighting, so that's never really that much of a problem. And the side quests don't really get that confusing, and they don't really get that irritating. There's a couple of side quests where the objectives were a little bit weird, but it's mostly just like making sure that you're reading the map right. The map itself is pretty legible and pretty good, especially in the open world areas. And there are a couple of open world areas, and it's interesting. And these are where a majority of side quests will happen. But there will be side quests within the quote unquote like levels or dungeon areas where you're kind of like locked into a linear path.
Oh, okay.
And then those you can still find collectibles and like other shit too. So it's all kind of intertwined. Like you're gonna find collectibles and upgrades like in the open world as well as in the levels as well too. It's an interesting structure that isn't quite open. It's very linear, but the open I did really start to enjoy the open world areas. It's kind of cool to see all the enemies like kind of walking around the field. I'm like, all of a sudden this game kind of feels like a Final Fantasy. Actually, it kind of feels closer to Final Fantasy 16, to be quite honest. You know, with a more interesting combat system, to be quite honest too. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing I liked in the demo, Gene, is just like a small flavor of the world is the little campsites you have. And you rest there, you got your little music box or whatever, something that plays music, and the soundtrack was definitely very good. How was it throughout the whole game? Oh, okay, I guess it's good.
Okay.
Oh, the soundtrack though, man. Whatever problem, if there's anything that's perfect in this game besides jazz, it is a soundtrack. Oh my god, dude! And a lot of the soundtrack it's by Okabe, the same the studio and composer that made Nier Automata music, right? So obviously they're gonna be going crazy. But the sound, the way they music, you can hear it in demo, but the singing gets louder once you enter into combat. I love that dynamic.
That's cool. You know? Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of like a soft singing when you're navigating, but then when you get into combat, she just starts yelling, and it's fucking awesome. Just like, you know,
the energy, yeah,
the energy just ratchets up, and like you feel it. The soundtrack is just like, what can I even say? It's even in Korean language, not the chaos language of Nier Automata. So it's nice to hear like Korean music being played as a Korean myself. Yeah, I can. What can I say about the soundtrack? It sounds like Nier. It sounds like Nier
it
Automata a
definitely
lot.
does. Yeah.
It definitely does. But it's really really good. And again, towards the second half, the soundtrack gets really really crazy, and it actually starts to stop sounding like Nier actually,
Oh, okay.
and it starts to have its own little identity. Um, one like the boss music goes really really crazy, and it's
Mhm.
like the game was never like this earlier. And yeah, there's some tracks that are just like what the fuck, like how is this going on as I'm fighting? um yeah, it's a little bit like how when Soken started to do that rock track during the Titan fight in Final Fantasy 16.
Mhm. Oh
Kind of
yeah.
like the tonal shift in that. It's a little similar, and it's
Okay.
gonna hit you out of nowhere. It's gonna be pretty fucking cool.
That's
Actually,
cool. I love
yeah,
that.
Sounds dope, man. That sounds
Yeah, it
really dope.
sounds good.
just like
Cog.
an out of pocket like song choice, and you're just like, oh, okay, we're doing this now, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cog, are you
Nice.
going to be checking out the full release? You are busy, I know that, but do
I
you plan on checking
know.
it out sometime this year?
I ain't gonna front like Gene. I was kind of cooling on it, just like I don't know. I'm not sure. It may be mid. I gotta say, but I'm not gonna front. Gene is selling me, man. Gene is selling me. I did not expect it to resonate with him the way it is, and the music, the combat thing was key for me. I want to
Mhm.
see how that goes. And I think I might have to jump in, man. It
Uh,
sounds really cool.
I was very very surprised. I was gonna be skeptical, you know,
Yeah.
because Nier Automata is like my favorite game of all time, basically.
Mhm.
You know, it's up there. It's my fourth favorite game of all time, but like it's pretty much up there, right? And Bayonetta is a huge favorite of mine too. So I was like, okay, this is obviously good. It's just going to be a Bayonetta and Nier Automata ripoff. And for a while, that's what I was thinking. You know, I was like, this pales in comparison to the greats, right? And it doesn't hit those highs, but this is absolutely its own thing, especially the combat. Especially the combat. That is where the identity is
Right.
the strongest. It is unique from Sekiro. It is unique from Souls. It is unique from Bayonetta. And then people always say like, "Oh, this is a Bayonetta." Yeah, she's not Bayonetta. She's not a British girl. She's actually Korean. You know, and it's and like people keep talking about like the diversity of blah blah. And one was like, you know what? Can we just celebrate that we have like this awesome Korean girl that's like
Mhm.
she is pure Korean, basically. You know, like there's no ethnicities and nationalities in the world of Stellar Blade, but she's scanned in with the flesh of a Korean woman. She's voiced by a Korean girl. She's designed by a Korean girl. The soundtrack is all in Korean. There's a fucking K-pop video that's marketing this one. This is a Korean product through and through, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, I think that's totally
That's
cool,
awesome.
man.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love that.
Yeah, I think that's totally rad. I'm very excited for this game, Gene. The biggest praise that you've said for me is that the combat kind of feels like its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think it's a very good idea to take ideas from other games, but I think as you dig more into the game, it sounds like it'll start to find more of its identity. So that's very exciting to me.
If it does not feel like anything else, actually, it feels like Stellar Blade.
That's great.
Which
That's
is
awesome.
really really nice, and it is an addictive combat system. I'm running around the open world like sprinting towards fights. You know, it's just so much fun. It's very crunchy. The outfits that you get are fun. There's a lot of different outfits. It was wild because I was trying to find an outfit with pants with pants on because every single outfit I was finding for like the longest time, it was just making her ass bigger. I swear to fucking God, dude. I was like, are they changing the model on this or whatever? You know, there's one outfit that's just like a straight up like Playboy bunny outfit, and her ass is just like out there. I'm just like,
damn.
Like look, I don't really get like excited about video game characters, but I will say that it did really feel like I was controlling like a sex doll for a little bit. You know, when you put her in those outfits, you know,
yeah,
it's like she is a silicone jiggly flesh body that I'm controlling, and it's very distracting. So once I found pants on her, I was like, awesome. You know, her ass was, but she got some jeans on. She just looks like a thick girl now. It's great. You know?
Yeah, totally.
She just looks like a girl with a big ass, just flying around and like slicing people up, slicing enemies. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. I mean, any game I think that gives you multiple outfits is a bonus for me. I always love games when they do that.
Yeah, the third person shooting portion was actually pretty cool too.
Yeah, I think the gun felt pretty cool when I used it.
Yeah. And it still feels pretty cool, and it's actually integrated fairly well into the combat system. Actually, remember when I was saying that there is follow up attacks?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, the damage you'll get by doing long range attacks is even greater. Like certain encounters will expose like a weak point that you can target and shoot, and that will just do even more damage. And it always feels really good. And the way she triggers is that she's holding her hand out like this, her fingers outstretched, and to pull the trigger, she just turns into a fist. Bam, 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 bam.
Cool.
Bam, bam. You know, and it's just really, really cool.
That is cool. That's stylish.
Yeah. And then also, people always say, the quotes that we were having earlier from that reader, right? Like, oh, she has no personality. She's just a girl like staring out into the distance. That's part of the story, you idiots. You know. That is part of the story. There is a whole story about her walking around and gaining knowledge. That is an actual mechanic where, and I can actually mention that there are multiple endings to this game too. Like Nier.
Okay.
It's
nice.
That's fun. The way to get these endings are it's not like Bloodborne where you have to sleep with the fetus for 3 days or whatever. There's no like crazy Bloodborne shit. To get the endings. It's basically the like choice oriented or like how much of a completionist you were throughout the
game, basically. Cool.
And it was cool.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to unlock the endings, you know.
It sounds like a really good first attempt from this studio at AAA gaming. Some rough edges, need some work, but the core is really solid and good.
Excellent first attempt. It feels like a first attempt, but it doesn't feel like a bad first attempt at all. It feels like a really, really good one.
Cool.
So much promise. Whatever game they make next is going to be pretty amazing because between the two Korean Souls X that came out, Liza P and Stellar Blade. Liza P is still obviously the better one. Because Liza P, like we were talking about it, like Liza P has memorable bosses. Every single boss in Liza P was memorable, and it was a memorable fight. Stellar Blade is like half of that, you know. And the story of Liza P just blows away Stellar Blade's story. Completely, you know. But that said, you know, it is a good vibe. It is a good vibe. You know, it's a pretty girl in a post-apocalypse walking around, and you know the gorgeous music is playing. And then there was this one sequence where I was just like walking around, and I saw the background. I was just like, it just took my breath away. I was like, this is just perfect. This is gorgeous. This is a K-pop music video of a video game. You know,
cool.
And I played it in Korean too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. All right.
Fire.
It was weird that the English voice acting, they were all British, which is like, you know, like they're trying to copy Bayonetta, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
And it's especially funny because her battle barks are pretty high pitch, you know, and they sound Korean, like ha, you know. They didn't even change that.
Let's see. The Uncharted Wolf wrote in, "What's up? Naturally full of energy squad." All right, so just for context, everyone's cooking me right now on that because I think it was like on a sacred or a constellation. I was talking about how like I don't have caffeine that much anymore or coffee because I just feel like I've had a lot of natural energy. Then they cooked me for having an energy drink during one of the things. Now, let me get this straight. I definitely have more energy now though than I used to, but I still get a little caffeine every now and then. I got to, but I do have it now though. So keep it straight, listeners. All right. Do you guys worry that Stellar Blade might be affected by negative reviews due to its sexy nature? I know a majority of reviewers will focus on the game itself, but I fear its score will be brought down for unfair reasons. Thanks for all you do and have an amazing week. Now, this reminds me of when Bayonetta was coming out, a lot of this stuff. I remember people were complaining, like, I think Polygon complained about it or something like her sexuality or whatever. Do you think we're going to get stuff like this again?
I mean, but let you go first.
I hope we're smarter than that, you know, especially just play.
I think the context of probably the game itself is important.
You need to play the game. You need to play the game. People said that about Bayonetta. Well, I mean, whoever said about Bayonetta was an idiot, you know? Like, they didn't. like they clearly didn't know enough gay people, you know.
Right.
You know, and that's the thing with Stellar Blade. Like you might not know enough Korean people, you know. Look, in Korea, there are advertisements that say you could look like this girl or you could look like this girl, you know. That's the culture of beauty in Korea, you know. For me, even when I was raised, my dad didn't give me Berenstain Bears and Peanuts to read. He gave me GQ, you know, because it's important in Korean culture to present the best foot forward, you know. You gotta look pretty, you gotta look prim and proper, you know. And that's why in Korea, men buy so many beauty products, you know. 30 to 40% of the cosmetics industry is men, you know.
Wow.
Because we Koreans love to look beautiful. Conventionally wrong with that, you know.
Yeah.
So that's what Stellar Blade is, for all of its warts, you know.
Yeah. Damn! Shout out to Berenstain Bears though, and the Peanuts. I was definitely on those when I was little.
I think I hate to say, I think this game gonna get the smoke. Unfortunately, I just think the way the culture is right now, you know, and the conversations I see online when I peek on Twitter here and there, and I see about Stellar Blade, you know, there is definitely a push to not. I want to say not give high ratings, but to not, you know, celebrate the sexuality or, you know, the human form, you know, anymore. Even to the point of, you know, what people are it's pushback on both sides. There's people are like, hey, we want more attractive characters. So these are the games that we want to play, right? And then there's this big group that's also like, no, why does everyone have to be beautiful? Why can't we have regular people or different, you know, styles of people, whether it be average or whatever? And that fever pitch is going. So unfortunately, I think that Stellar Blade is going to catch some strays from some people who are on the opposite side of it. Sure. Not that I agree with it, but the dialogue is extremely intense when I look at these. Sometimes I'll be in there stalking in the back, just like looking at debates between people who are like, you know, this is a problem and this, that, and the third. And my stance has always been, whatever is the passion of the developer, let them do what they want to do.
Let them do it, yeah.
I've always been pro-developer in that stance. So for me to try to neuter the creativity or the mind of something like that, but on the same time, I'm not one of these people that are like, oh, the main character from Fable looks average, I'm not going to buy this game because I need every... Like, I'm not on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
But I will say it's very interesting that Stellar Blade has kind of sparked this discussion online. So I don't know. I don't think people's gonna be as open-minded as G. We'll see.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong.
I don't understand. Why can't we? Reminder: this is a woman starring a woman of color. You know.
Yeah.
This is a video game starring a woman of color centered on the cover of the game. You know. This is a Korean woman. We don't see a lot of Korean women stars. And that's just being lost in this, you know. I hate to see this product being used as a culture war sledgehammer in both ways, you know. Why can't we just celebrate? This is a Korean studio worked on by a lot of Korean women, you know, who made a video game about a beautiful Korean girl, you know.
Great point.
And that's exactly what this game is, and that's all it needs to be, you know.
And I'm so glad you mentioned the Korean perspective, you know, because understanding the culture, and then again, like you said, a lot of people don't realize, you know, again, a Korean studio made by Korean women, like people don't realize there's this, you know, perception that it's this, you know, male thing, and people have all these incorrect, you know, perceptions about what Stellar Blade is from the creation process. So I'm glad you brought that to attention.
It's a little insulting. Like, so there's no space in the video game industry for a beautiful Korean girl is that what we're saying? Is that the message that we're saying, really? You know, because that's how it kind of comes off. You know, I know that you're not saying that, but that's how it comes off, where it's like, okay, well, why is there so much resistance? Why is there so much skepticism? Why do you see a Korean girl looking out into space and say, oh, there's nothing going on in her fucking head right now? You know? That's crazy to me.
It's a lot of broad stroking, I feel, with, you know, trying to lump this in with other things that people are trying to quote unquote, minimize in the games industry.
Yeah, don't get distracted by the discourse. Play the game, figure it out.
Yeah.
You're going to find out that you're going to find a nice, crunchy game with a fairly basic, interesting, but well-told story.
Yeah, people just got too much free time on their hands most of the time. They get caught up in all this shit. But
dude, go offline, man. Go outside.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Go to a weed festival for fuck's sake.
Yeah, do what Gene did. Yeah,
make some friends at the festival. That's what I did.
Yeah, totally.
Met some cute girls in cheerleader outfits. I was like, hey, what's going on with you?
Yeah,
what
totally.
Girls know about Stellar Blade.
You know about Stellar Blade?
What you know about Stellar Blade from South Korea? Exclusive to the console PlayStation 5.
Bars.
Brought them back home. Showed them my Stellar Blade.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Felix Johnson wrote in, evening summoning sussies. Gene, is Stellar Blade full of Korean mommies? The demo makes it seem like all the baddies die off in the intro. This is criminal, and the people demand to know.
That's the thing. There's not your instinct is right. Most of the Korean baddies are dead at the beginning.
Right at the beginning.
You see them all die, basically. No, there's not. There's actually not a lot of hot Korean women around. You'll fight some Korean women warriors, and it's interesting. Their design is really, really interesting. Clearly, these are women designed to have like really, really wide hips.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the art style that these women just have huge like hips.
Yeah, totally. Nothing wrong with that.
But that's about it, though.
I mean, it's like every time I play a Yakuza game, I want those boys jacked up.
Yeah.
Ripped.
Every single old dude, like they're super jacked up,
They're like 70 and just fucking bodybuilders.
Rep everybody's bodybuilder.
Yeah. They're like 75, the governor of Tokyo, and they're super jacked. And it's like,
shirt goes all tattoo on the back.
Yeah, it's awesome, dude. I love that shit.
It's video games, baby. What are we doing here, man? Come on.
Mm-hmm.
This is fantasy. This is art style. This is like. Where we are just finishing a rebirth where Aerith and Bo Tifa do Tifa and Aerith have a reason to be beautiful? What about Tifa's personality has anything to do with her short skirt or her big boobs?
Yeah, great personality.
It's just part of her design, yo.
Yeah,
it's a character design. That's what it is.
Yep. There's more to them than that.
And also, it's so hypocritical. Everyone keeps bringing up Baldur's Gate 3 and Hades or whatever like that. But let's take it back even further. What about Heavy Metal Magazine?
Yeah.
Or Conan the Barbarian. Conan the Barbarian. I keep Conan the Barbarian. Yeah, that sexy character, Conan O'Brien.
Oh, he's outside.
Conan the Barbarian. These were very, very titillating stories with half naked women and half naked women, or half naked men. They're all super buff. They're all super fit, and we accepted it back in the day.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and they still exist today.
They still, it's just the way it is. All right, boys, let's talk about what I've been playing. So. I played recently the Final Fantasy XVI DLC, The Rising Tide. I completed this.
I need to know.
It's very good. Very good. I liked the first DLC a lot that they had for this, but the second one is even better, I would say. Kind of improves upon everything that the base game did. Lots of new combat stuff I'm not going to talk about, but there's a lot to play with here. There's a lot of depth going on. It's a nice length, too. I did everything. So I'm playing on Final Fantasy mode, which is like the new game plus hard mode, essentially. And it took me about 7 hours to pretty much do everything. And it felt like a very nice pace where I didn't feel like stuff was dragging. Everything was just brisk and it felt so good. And man, it was just great to be with these characters again. I love Clive. Shout out to Ben Starr. Excellent voice actor.
Finally got a chance to meet him. The legend.
Oh, you did? Dude, I love Ben. He's so cool.
So cool.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Cool.
He's a great guy.
He called me on the phone once.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah. He just really wanted to talk to me. And I was just like, what the fuck? Yo, I got Clive on my phone right now? That's crazy.
Yeah, right? Yeah, man. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's dope.
He was like, Gene, I just really wanted to say I admire your work,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Salute.
All right, I'll
Yeah.
accept the truth, baby. You know?
Yeah. I went to a bar with him in LA and he was so fun to hang out with, dude. He's a rad guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, enough gassing him up. The characters I just really love in this game. I really love Clive. I think he's one of my favorite main characters in Final Fantasy. I love Jill. I love Joshua. So just for anyone knows, this is like at the very end of the game. You have to be very far in 16 to do this kind of stuff. Annoyingly, like unlike Rebirth, there's no chapter select. You can't just like pick chapters easily. So I believe you kind of have to be at the point unless they change something that I wasn't aware of.
Really?
Got you. Okay.
Because that's what the first one was like. It's like right before the end of the game, these DLCs take place.
Okay.
Wow.
So you got to have an end game save, basically.
Yes, this is end game stuff. This is end game stuff, yeah. Or you have to be very, very far into the game at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll just talk about, so combat wise, obviously the DLC revolves around Leviathan this time. It was teased kind of in the main game, never showed up, and now Leviathan is in the game, and of course that means new icon abilities for you to mess around with. And Leviathan's really cool. It feels very different from the other ones. It's very focused on range. So, with Leviathan, you're not swinging a weapon around him. Your arm turns into like a sick Mega Man Leviathan cannon, essentially, and you're shooting water at them. And there's like 3 different shots. You got your standard shot. You have like a charge shot, or like a more like heavy shot that splashes water, like kind of like crushes them. And then you got like some sick like charge one where it shoots like a bunch of drops. Really fun. You get a cool double dodge with it too. So now you can like do he does like a really cool side flip, and you can of course counter with all that stuff. It's really fun. One of the abilities is he just like unloads like a machine gun with it, just shooting out water and just like shreds their stagger meter. You get this really fun tsunami ability where he like, there's like a huge like tsunami wave. Of course, Leviathan's ultimate is like tsunami. So you're getting to see how that's really rad. I think this game so far has the best boss fights of the year. This DLC itself. Like, I love Rebirth and I love the boss fights because the presentation is so good in them. So good. And like the transitions between phases in the boss fights are great. Of course, 16 has that also, but dude, the mechanics of some of these bosses are really great. Leviathan is super fun to fight. Really challenging. This DLC is much more challenging than the base game.
I keep hearing
which is good.
That he's a DPS check.
There is a massive DPS check on this boss fight that I wiped on like 6 times.
That's
it's
crazy.
So tight.
Wow.
It's so tight. I was playing on Final Fantasy mode, so I don't know how it is on normal mode. I'm not sure. But on the Final Fantasy mode, it was very tight.
What level were you in Final Fantasy mode? 100?
No. I'm under leveled, I think. I don't think it matters though, because it was like an Ifrit when you're Ifrit in this part, so I don't think it really mattered.
Oh, that doesn't matter at all then. God damn it,
so,
that sucks. Holy shit.
But the Ifrit, it was really well done fight. I looked at the Leviathan fight from Final Fantasy 15 before I played the Leviathan fight in 16. Holy shit, it is like night and day. Because I hated the Leviathan fight in 15. I thought it was so dumb and not good. I liked the idea of it, but I just thought it was poorly executed. Not so here. Masterfully executed. Amazing fight.
Is it about a cinematic though? Because the 15 fight was shit. Dude, it was very cinematic though. It was gorgeous.
This is way more cinematic. This fight is
really okay.
Gorgeous.
Cool. Okay.
It's awesome, Gene.
Okay. All right.
You're like Ifrit running on the water, and Leviathan's like going.
Oh man. Okay. I don't want to hear about it. Yeah.
It's so good, man. It's so good.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All that
cool.
stuff.
Cool. Okay,
There's
cool.
A really cool boss that kind of has like a time mechanic where he freezes you if you're in certain areas and you get stuck. It's really good. Really love these fights. I was just like, dude,
that's the most exciting thing because the 15 Leviathan fight is mechanically a garbage, a nothing fight. There's nothing going on.
Yeah, it's garbage,
right?
but it looks cool.
Or he looks so cool. So that's why it's stayed in my mind because like, we could have had something really interesting and cool there. They just didn't execute it right.
This is a cool fight.
It was so memorable.
This is a good fight.
So that's what this is. Then it's like, okay.
It's a really good fight. Really fun. But the DLC takes place in like a new region. And if you've played 16, you kind of know at the end of the game, very minor spoiler here, just the skybox kind of changes. But this one, it's very bright, sunny, very peaceful. The game looks really nice. Of course, it doesn't run as good as I would like it to frame rate wise. It still runs kind of the same, but it definitely looks gorgeous going through these environments. It's like very thick forest, jungle almost looking things you're going through. Gorgeous stuff. The story's cool. I won't get into any of that kind of stuff, but the side quests, I think there's 10 side quests in total. And what's cool about them is they're all related to this region you're in. I think they're better than the main game. A lot of people complain about the side quests in the main game. I think they are better, particularly because this was in the trailer. So I'll just say it. One of the side quests later on is Tonberry King. So you get to fight like the goat. One of the best Final Fantasy villains of all time. He's in the trailer, so they showed him play a role in the game.
Really good, really fun design.
Yeah, they look awesome. Yeah, the Tonberries look great in this game. So, yeah, a lot of the quests revolve around the region, which I really appreciate, and just kind of help build lore and context for all that stuff, which I'm really into. Just learning more about this universe or this area you're in. It's called Mysidia, so if you know Final Fantasy IV, you'll be like, oh yeah, I know. Colin noticed that right away.
Is it the same one from Final Fantasy IV?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I think Yoshi P and like those guys, they love. Colin said it right. It's like 4 is like their North Star.
Yeah.
And if you've played 14, there's a lot of Final Fantasy IV stuff in that game.
Yeah.
And there's like nods to it in this game as well, which is cool with me. Like, it's Final Fantasy celebrating the series. But yeah, I was very happy with this DLC. Very, very happy. It feels very nice. There's so much good story stuff in here. I don't even want to say. There's a lot of surprises that I was very happy with. I won't say with. Also, when you beat the boss or whatever, you kind of unlock this thing that's essentially like this game's Bloody Palace, Gene, where you get to like go through floors and fight all these guys, stuff like that, with some fun rewards.
Well, what are the rewards?
I won't tell you.
Oh, really?
I can't tell you.
Okay.
I can tell you later on, Gene, if you want some stuff.
Look it.
Well, I'll tell you later, but yeah, you can look up stuff. But there's some fun combat stuff to get. I'll just say that I was surprised about. And I was like, you mad lads, you did it. So
nice.
Really good stuff. They also did like some balancing patches for the game, like some cooldown stuff. So like when I was playing this, it definitely felt like I didn't have a lot of downtime with abilities. Everything seemed to refresh much quicker. So I was actively using all my abilities way more than I remembered in the base game. So I really appreciate it. It just made it much more engaging. Like when I was fighting guys now, I was constantly doing something. I was constantly juggling a lot of stuff. So that kept me much more engaged. I wish you could switch characters. Like 7 Rebirth, in my opinion, and Remake do it perfectly, how you can just left D-pad and swap between them. But Clive has a lot to him, especially with his new abilities. So it's really great they fleshed all that kind of stuff out. And yeah, I thought it was super great, super engaging. I think if you liked 16, you'll have a great time with this. And I think it's a perfect cap to end the game. It's like, you guys nailed it.
Nice.
Great job. Now let's move on. It was great. But I was very happy with it. Yeah. Good stuff.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Okay, you get a new sword. Okay.
You do get... There are some new weapons in the game, yes.
Yeah.
There's more than that, though.
Yeah.
Just say that.
No doubt. So narratively, you felt satiated?
Yes, because a lot of it revolves around Leviathan itself. And as you know, icons in 16 are in a very big part of the story. So I did like all that kind of story and revolving around all that. Yeah, there's like a new companion character that comes with you throughout the game. Your party, she's with you. She's really cool. She has like a battle axe and she fights with you. She's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that sounds dope, man.
She's a real battle axe. Your wife is a real battle axe.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes. Totally.
McDonald.
Oh, he was so funny, dude. Damn.
Did you know that I knew him?
No.
I didn't know you knew him. Gene, you're so weird. How do you know so many fucking people?
Like,
I know, what the fuck?
Yeah, we were friends. I actually have his old Reddit account, too.
What?
Yeah. I made his Reddit account for him.
Dude,
I am Norman McDonald.
That's hilarious.
Gene, you are... I saw you post this thing. You were like, the character I wish I was, and it's Kiryu. You are fucking Kiryu. It's so weird, dude.
Yes, the rage. Yes.
I saw you suplex a guy in New York City, so you are Kiryu. You're the closest
when I
guy
saw that selfie in Like a Dragon Gaiden, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like you're just making this character more like me every day. This is crazy.
So dope.
Because like I would send a selfie to my hater, to my biggest hater, with like all these women. Like,
What?
What's up, yo?
That is so funny.
Like that was so brutal, and I was like, I'm so glad that he made that choice. That is exactly what I would do too. Holy shit! Just like bait my biggest enemy, you know?
God damn, that's so funny. I told you guys, Gene is the funniest guy, and no one knows it.
Hilarious.
This is from Brady. Brady wrote in, Aloha, Summoners. Brad, Final Fantasy 16 has been in my backlog since Christmas. Should I buy the DLC before starting my first playthrough, or wait until a certain part of the game to decide if I should buy it? Thanks as always for the great podcast. Brady, you just play and just wait. You don't need to buy it right away. The DLCs take place like at the very end of the game. So you got a lot to get through still to decide if you want to get more. So don't worry about it. Just hop
you might not even get to that end. Who knows? You know,
it's a long game. Well, it's a long game. It's not as long as Rebirth, but it's long. It's a Final Fantasy game, so settle in.
I actually have 170 hours on Final Fantasy 16, which is crazy.
What? Wow, dude.
I was like, why have I played this game that much?
Yeah,
I don't even like it that much. You know, like what the fuck? I love the game, but I don't know if I like it that much. I played that much. I was like, what the fuck are we doing?
I
in this
don't know,
game?
man. Just hooked you or something about it.
Yeah.
Kyle wrote in, hey, Summoners. Brad, since you're playing Final Fantasy 16 DLC, I'd love to hear your thoughts on coming back to the game after Rebirth. I enjoyed 16 and I absolutely adored Rebirth, but coming back to 16 has been tough. Combat has less variety with only one character, the gear doesn't affect as much of the gameplay, and the icons, while fun and bombastic, offer less variety in combat than the ability and team comps of Rebirth. Also, I forgot you can't manually sprint in 16 and just hurts. Have your 16 thoughts changed at all? Keep up the awesome work, love the show and all the hard work you guys do. Awesome, cheers. It's funny, the sprint is literally the Devil May Cry sprint. It's exactly the same. You just run the Devil May Cry.
This is from Devil May Cry 3 and 5, yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly
and 4,
the same.
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yes, there is more variety this time around. Like I said, there is Leviathan that comes with a whole new toolkit. There's also some other stuff. It doesn't have as many like moves as I'd say as Rebirth, you know, because Rebirth you have like 6 party members or something crazy like that. And they all have like a ton of abilities, and you got the materia system, which itself is very deep. So no, there's not as much as that. But there is more variety. And like I said, this time around, I was much more busy doing stuff the entire time than I was before. But I prefer the 7 Rebirth combat style. I just like that kind of combat more. But I think 16's is still really good. And they've just kind of massaged it more and I think made it even better. So yeah, I think it's good.
I do wish more people would copy the 7 Remake, 7 Rebirth. The re-trilogy combat system. It's weird that this is the only game that these are the only games that do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, I would be surprised if people do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I was at an RPG studio, I'd be like, let's do this, please.
Yeah, we just hit square to swing the sword and then press X to bring up a menu and then do other attacks. That's fucking genius. And then slow down the combat to a super cool effect to make that look cool and everything. Yeah, let's just
it's genius.
Why don't we just do that more? You know?
It's really good.
It's a great combat system.
God, I would love 16 if it had that combat too. And then to answer that guy's question, I think the boss fights in 16 are still better. You know. So.
Yeah, I do too. They're like. I think the fights in Rebirth are really good, and I really love them. But 16 is just like huge spectacles. Like they're crazy. Yeah, they're just like crazy shit.
Yeah, my sister was actually in town a couple weeks ago, and then she's a huge Final Fantasy fan. Like we played the OG Final Fantasies a lot together, but she hasn't played a Final Fantasy since like 12, right, or 13 actually. So she never saw 15 or 16 or 7 Remake. So I showed her 16, and she was like, "Holy shit, this is fucking rad."
Yeah,
she was like, this is what Final Fantasy is now. That's crazy. Yeah, and then I played like some of the mini missions. I was like, oh, I see why you don't like this game as much. And then I played 7 Rebirth and Remake, and she was like, this is so cool, but like the boss fights aren't as cool. But like, everything about the story and Remake and Rebirth was just like enchanting for her too. You know?
Yeah. Oh,
like, I can't believe like they remade Final Fantasy 7 like this because she never seen the remake either. You know?
Yeah, totally.
It was like a huge like level up for her. But,
crazy shock. Yeah,
16 is still impressive to anyone who hasn't seen a video game before.
Oh,
it's absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Especially like the story and the acting, and it's very strong too. So that helps. This is from Zachary Parkerson. Brad, you gotta let us know if the Rising Tide has actual good side quests or if it's just junk as the main game. Please tell me they've improved. Yes, they've improved they're not like, I think Rebirth has better side quests in a lot of ways, just like a stuff you're actually doing. But I think the narrative around them, like I think for the main game, the narrative around them is very good. Like one I liked was just kind of like Clive bringing his chocobo to this new area, and that was kind of a side quest wrapped around that I did like, but it's not like Rebirth shit where you're playing like fucking Fort Condor or something crazy like that. It's nothing like that crazy, but I think they're better. So they are an improvement, but if you don't like the focus on narrative mostly, but I'll just say they're better. There's some better encounters and all that stuff, more unique enemies to do. There's more of a reason to, I guess. This is from MD of the North. Ahoy, fuckers. In regards to Final Fantasy 16, I recently dove back into it after playing Rebirth. This is probably a minority opinion, but in retrospect, I found that I actually like the combat more in 16 than the 7 remakes. Maybe it's all my time in FF14 or my deep love for From Software games, but I really enjoyed focusing on getting very skilled with single character, even if the combat is definitely less RPG-like. Curious for your thoughts as I wait for the PC release to play the DLC. Thanks, crew. Yeah, I actually had 2 emails that were like, oh wait, here's the second part. This is the exact opposite, I believe. Hey, Summoners, after finishing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I've gone back to 16 Rising Tide DLC. I enjoyed my time with FF16 and the DLC, with Mysidia being incredibly pretty. However, it's finally clicked with me why FF16 hasn't gripped me the same as FF7 and the other Final Fantasies. The lack of controlling other party members is a big loss and somehow reduces my connection with them. I'm a big fan of Clive, but everyone else leaves little impact on me. Thoughts? So these guys obviously had 2 exact different opinions, so I love that. But I do agree with you. Like, if you're not playing as a character, you kind of lose a little bit of connection. Like, actually hopping into, Kate Sith in Rebirth, I think helped people a lot like Kate Sith more than they did in the past. Shout out Kate Sith, incredibly fun in Rebirth. I fucking loved playing as him. He's so goofy, dude. The fucking dice roll was so sick. But yeah, I know Gene. I think most of us prefer the Rebirth and remake style of combat. But I think there's room for them to try different combat systems like this. I'm very happy they tried this combat system. I liked action combat games, and I think the battle director, of course, is legendary. Working on Devil May Cry and all that good stuff. So it's great. I prefer Rebirth, but I still think 16 combat's really fun, especially on the harder difficulties when you're like really, really fighting for your life, because it can get hairy, dude. And it feels like dodges just feel so good in the game, dude. When you land a parry, it's hard to do, but it's so rewarding. There's a lot of risk reward in 16, and I like that a lot.
Man, you're gonna love Stellar Blade, dude.
Oh, I know. I'm so excited for Stellar Blade.
Yeah, I'm just like, holy shit, dude. Because the combat it's just so much better than 16 in terms of
I believe
the dodging and like the combat.
Yeah. It's funny. I looked at someone playing on YouTube. I checked out like some guy playing 16 like a boss fight that's in the DLC. He like no hit it, and I was just watching him play, and he plays like completely different than how I played, and he was so fucking good. That's the kind of shit I liked about 16. There's so much depth to it if you want to get crazy with it, but you don't have to in a lot of ways. And I think for some people, if they don't experiment with a lot of the combat in the game, they kind of think it's boring. But there's just so much fucking variety you can do in the game, and it's really awesome. But it's hard to do, man. You gotta it takes work. It's a Devil May Cry game. It's the same exact thing. Like Devil May Cry, you can get through pretty chill on the other difficulties, but if you get crazy with combat, it's really fun. But I understand that's not for everybody, so I totally get it.
It does make me appreciate Stellar Blade more, though, because what you just said there, in terms of well, you have all this variety, but you don't need to do all that, right? Whereas in Stellar Blade, you actually have to have to use all your moveset, because if you're not using all your moveset, then you might get fucked.
Yeah. So
which is crazy.
That's the thing is, my biggest problem with 16, honestly, is that I think the game's too easy on the way through. And I think if it was more challenging, or at least gave you the option for a harder difficulty, you'd have to experiment more. And I really like that kind of stuff in games. So I really hope down the line they add a hard mode you could just do for a new game or something like that.
Yeah. There's this Twitter account, Dreambomb, who is like Final Fantasy 16's like biggest defender. Like, he loves Final Fantasy 16 so much, So shout out to him. But he was playing Leviathan, and he was like, I could see a world where the future MMO from Final Fantasy is based off 16. And I was like, you know what?
Maybe.
That is a huge idea because there is no real action RPG MMO quite at the level of Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, no. Yeah, there's none.
But there is Black Desert Online.
I was about to bring a BDO.
Exactly, and then upcoming Crimson Desert Online, which is offline.
Yes, that game looks sick, dude.
it's pretty good. I haven't played much of it, but when I played it, I was like, yeah, I could see myself playing this like a whole bunch. But if they made a Final Fantasy 16 style MMO with that kind of combat system,
crazy.
I would be all over that completely. Yeah. I would play the shit out of Final Fantasy 16 online, and then I'll complain about it and say, "Oh, Final Fantasy 16 offline is better." But but I will still play the shit out of an MMO that's based off FF16's like moveset.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like combat system, because it's already like the boss is already built like an MMO, with lanes and like DPS
very
and
14. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the cool thing about Final Fantasy is they're so different, a lot of them, and there's something for everybody. Not everything's going to click with everybody, but sometimes you find that game you latches onto. So
and that's why we're always fighting each other.
I know, it's very exhausting.
Yeah, it's funny to see that there's. We'll probably talk about this later, but there's similarities between Fallout and Final Fantasy.
Oh yeah, recently I've been seeing some of that in Fallout. As someone outside of Fallout, I've been seeing some of this. So I'm just like, what are you guys fighting about?
I was the Fallout community is exactly the same as the Final Fantasy community. It's crazy,
Absolutely, facts.
All right, this is from Dan Excel. Hello, beautiful people. This is my first time writing into the show, and I just wanted to say how wonderful it is. Brad, I just finished the Rising Tide DLC, and it felt like a proper send-off. The fight against Leviathan was so epic, and it's now one of my favorite fights in the game. Also, what are your thoughts on the Cryoskate? So that's like the Bloody Pals thing. Unlike Rebirth's VR challenges, game mode has tons of different modifiers that can make your attempts easier or harder. You can really tell CB3, Creative Use Unit 3, really put a lot of effort into their mode. Lastly, how do you feel about the Leviathan? Ooh, and I'm not reading that. Cheers! Have a great day, gentlemen. Yeah.
Was that a story spoiler?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm just not saying that. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that. But yeah, it's good to see that people enjoyed it. I think I love the Rebirth VR challenges. I think they're super fun too. Mm-hmm. I just love modes like this, so I'm happy they're in more games. Yeah, Chadley. Stop talking so much, Chadley. I love you, Chadley.
He loves to talk, boy.
Chatty Chadley, dude.
Chatty Chadley.
I will say it's been kind of nice to not play Rebirth, and like I love Chadley, but it's been nice to like not have Chadley chattering.
Cloud,
yeah, you're right that he does talk a lot because the entire game is Chadley, like
doing shit for Chadley,
So especially since remember I skipped all the side quests when I went in my first run.
Oh my god, I forgot you did that. Yeah.
So it's just been 70 hours of Chadley, like straight Chadley. Like afterwards, because like I now have like 120 hours in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've completed almost everything, but like like it's all the back end is just like the game
Chadley
is 70%
Chadley.
Yeah, he's got a lot to say, man. Jeez, Chadley and my.
Yeah, at least if you're doing completionist run the first time, you get the Chadley breaks with like
that's what I did. Yeah,
Sephiroth is like coming in and everything. Like, I'm playing Final Fantasy VII.
You gotta have that to break it up totally.
Whereas like I'm just playing Chadley the video game.
Yeah, right now, you're Chadley Town. Cog, dude, okay.
Yo.
Talk to me, man. You've been playing Fallout 76. Now, I played this when the game came out. First came out. I played it on PS4. Oof. Boy, was it rough. Broken quests. I got so mad, dude. There was a story quest I couldn't just complete because it just wouldn't finish, dude.
Yeah.
Buggy, laggy. But it's been a while since this game's been out. They've updated a ton. People are saying good things about it now. I actually hopped into it recently with Dustin and like Ben.
That's right, you did.
Or Brandon and like Jimmy Champagne. Yeah.
You
I still didn't enjoy it.
You spent $8 on it, right?
$8 on it. Yeah, I paid $8. I was like, you're lucky it's $8 I'll play, because Dustin wanted to play it, and I was like, I didn't enjoy my time with it again. But to be fair, I didn't play a lot of it, and I just didn't probably give it the proper shake. But Cog, you've been playing it with the Fallout zeitgeist is going on. Everyone's loving Fallout right now. Everyone's playing Fallout. But you decided to play Fallout 76. Yes. Please tell me about it.
All right, so here's the deal. Obviously, we know what's going on in these gaming streets. This
Yes,
Fallout
sir.
TV show is out here, and I'm not gonna lie. As a person who I would consider myself a, above average. I'm not a casual Fallout fan. I love Fallout, but I wouldn't consider myself Mr. Matty Plays. Like I'm probably more a Elder Scrolls guy than a Fallout guy. But I love Fallout, though. I do like what the world and the post-apocalyptic and the humor and all that stuff. So I watch the show, and it's like, man, this show is so good. I'm like, I am battling myself for like, is this the best video game adaptation? Like, that's how much I love this show. So now I'm like, okay, I got the fever. I want to play a Fallout game. What am I going to do? So it comes down to, obviously 76 is out there, but I'm like, I really want to play Fallout 4. But then I'm like, wait a minute. The patch that they do, the 60 frames and the upgrades and all that stuff, I believe is the 25th. But this was like a week ago. And I'm like, I can't wait for that. I don't want to start it. It's not patched. So I'm like, you know what? Cog, you got to be real. You never even booted up 76. Because at the time, the controversy was so bad. It was such a stain on Bethesda's name. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm good. Like, I spoke to my Fallout guys. I'm like, is it safe? And they were like, no, it's horrible.
No, yeah.
Bro, it looked like a slideshow, the glitches. I was like, oh, hell no. I was watching the videos and the memes. They was killing Todd Howard out there. I was like, oh, man, this is bad. So I'm like, all right, I've heard good things. I heard the game is completely changed since then. Let me at least try it. So the first thing I noticed when I booted up off the top, I was like, man, this engine is really improved from a graph of just moving around and then switching between first person. I put it at third person. And I'm like, man, this is kind of crispy. This is kind of smooth.
It looks really good in third person.
Yes. I was like, man, this looks good. This looks playable.
That's a solid tune. Yeah. He's like it's a sturdy character, right? And the way he moves around, it really feels like it's part of the world,
Exactly. So I'm like, all right, cool. And then obviously you start off, the whole vault situation and you kind of wake up, you're like the last person, the vault. And they're like pretty much like the overseer is like, get out there and we're going to, reclaim, America. And you're in like, what is it? West Virginia or Appalachia or something like that.
West Virginia.
And yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. The backdrop, really beautiful.
I do like the backdrop. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's really nice. So I'm like, all right, cool.
Low key, the best Fallout map, at least in modern times. But yeah,
I was just about to say it, bro. The map is so well done. Like, first of all, the design of the map, and then the locales are very distinct, and even a lot of the biomes themselves are just unique. And I'm like, man, this is really cool. So I'm getting there. Now, the thing I will say off the bat that I did not like is the creative play still sucks. It's still basic. Yeah, you can't really get too in depth with it. So I'm like, damn, I can't make another brother that look a little better, like more like me.
For black people. Oh my God.
Bro, the brothers, we ain't got a lot of customizations out here. So I'm like, all right, so we did that. And then, but what I will say is a person who likes the Fallout special system, right? I have the special strength, perception, intelligence, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
They have this unique system, which is with cards. So pretty much, let's say, for example, you put 5 in perception. There are perception cards that are part of a deck that then, it'll give you, you can, 2 points. It'll allow you to do this specific perception ability, right? But the cool thing is you could have, multiple cards that add up into that 5 points of perception that you have, or whatever point allocation that you have. As long as you look at your card number, you can actually use all those abilities in that specific character of this of that category of the special field, which is really dope to me. So now there was one that it was like, hey, if you're like a lone wolf, you do 30% more damage because you're playing by yourself. You're not playing in a group, things like that. Things with the waste and rads and stuff like that. You can, food won't spoil as much. So you really start to get into these customizations. And the thing that's dope is if you have similar cards, like you can get cards like of the same, you can combine them to make a more powerful one. Now the point value will go up.
Right.
But what's cool is that you could really spec into these builds. And I'm a build guy. So I'm like, okay, Fallout, this is cool. So again, going out in the world, doing the questing, the thing that really surprised me is that from what I heard in 76, when it originally dropped, there were no NPCs.
Yeah, none.
None.
I heard like
None.
so people are like I'm like, oh, this is cool. Like, hold on, guys. I'm talking to somebody. They be like, oh, yo, bro, that was never in the original game.
No.
Like
No.
they had no storyline, like no concise main quest. Like I heard everything was redone. So for me, I'm like, oh, why is everybody hating on it? It's not that bad. Like, but I have to understand, I am benefiting from all the years of suffering and retooling that this game has gone through.
That's a PTSD that Brad and I have, where we just get birthed into this beautiful West Virginia world. And there's no other humans. We're just like, what the fuck?
Just lifeless. Yeah.
That's what I heard. So I'm
Like,
sitting there.
it's just like BioShock. All you're finding is audio logs and everything.
Yeah. How do you make a fucking Fallout game with no NPCs?
That's
like
crazy.
How do you do that?
I'm shocked they even allowed that to happen. Like I was like, wow. So I'm getting quests. I'm doing the holotapes. I'm helping communities. They're like, hey,
without characters, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. Imagine if the Fallout TV show only had Lucy.
Yeah, bro, it's crazy. And the thing I got, that is funny.
What the fuck, dude? She's just finding like letters and shit.
All she do is walk around finding letters about the apocalypse. That is funny.
Yeah, and there's no like guy in a diaper like drinking, trying to drink water out of a dusty water filter, and like all these beautiful characters, these weird characters. Like imagine, like what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, bro. More cohesive stories than is just like these launch codes and stuff on the map that you have to find from the overseer. But the thing that I want to say off top that I really liked is that this community is the best community I've ever seen, because they must be clearly getting an influx of players that they have never seen before. So I start and I'm seeing players come up to me. They're giving me stuff. They're helping me. They're like just the best community ever. I'm just like, wow, this is pretty amazing. And one of the quests I did was a miscellaneous quest where I was helping someone, and then they told me to it was like a quest to find this key to some location. End up finding another vault. And then on the way to find that vault, there was like 2 quests in between. I'm fighting super mutants and all this stuff. I get a shed where I see power armor for the first time. So I'm getting into the power armor, getting that fantasy, obviously, of the show and stuff like that. Really cool. The abilities are a little different, but you move like a tank, but you're powerful. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. Now, combat, look, it's not the greatest. It's not a classic Fallout game where I'm used to VATS, the traditional way.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Where things slow down, you pick the body part. They have this like real-time version of VATS where you like press right bumper. The enemies are coming at you. Nothing's slowing down, but you can at least target, and it shows you the percentages. Okay, if you hit the right arm, if you hit the left leg, it'll be 80% versus 20%.
It's a lock on. It's a lock on.
Yeah, it's like a lock.
Yeah.
It's a lock on, right? So the VATS purist in me hates it, but I understand, like, okay, well, mechanically, how could they really do that in an MMO? You know what I mean? It's not going to work, right? But so my first experience was just solo play. How is it as a solo player? How is it in this world? And I have to admit, it was better than I came in with low expectation. And I actually end up having a lot of fun. So my second playthrough over the week, I'm like, you know what? I want to do playthroughs with a group. How is that mechanic? So I got the homies, called my man Anchorman V2, who's like a Fallout 76, veteran. So I'm like, all right, he grabbed me up. He's like, this is what we do. This is how you build your camp. This is what you do as far as crafting and scrapping things and stuff like that. And the system was pretty intuitive. My main nitpick right now is that it still feels that even though I playing with a group, each of us are kind of all doing our own individual quests.
Sure.
As opposed to working together on stuff. Now, I know they've made changes where, like, okay, if Brad, you're a level 150 and I'm 14, the world will scale so that we could play together, which I do like.
That's cool, yeah.
But my main issue right now is, as a person who, like, again, who plays Destiny, plays all this stuff, I wish we had true questing together. I still feel it's a bit separate.
Yeah, there's like no like strike equivalent or whatever dungeon stuff that I'm aware of, right? In it,
Grand Theft Auto 5 style heist or something.
Yeah,
they call expedition. In fairness, I have not done an expedition. That's what I heard is their equivalent.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying, kind of thing. So I want to try that. But yeah, I mean, look, I have to admit, I didn't think I would end up enjoying it as much as I did, and yeah, I might still stick with it around until at least until Fallout 4 that patch comes out. But yeah, 76. But I as a person who has slandered this game on Defining Duke, I have gone, why is it even existing? Why are they still doing this? We need a dedicated Fallout studio. And I get it. I still want those things. But I have to admit, 76 has definitely come a long way and is at least better than what I thought it was. So salute to that community, because I could tell right now there's such a resurgence in everyone playing it and stuff like that. And yeah, it's rocking and rolling. Still got content. I got Atlantic City. They got all this stuff going on. So yeah, I had a good experience.
That's great news, man. I'm really happy to hear that. Like, I don't want a game to come out and be bad and just be bad forever. I'm really happy they're like turning it around. Like some of the decisions that they made with this game earlier on, it were kind of baffling and I don't understand them, but it sounds like they're learning from a lot of their mistakes. So that's great. I mean, I love Final Fantasy 14, but when that game came out, it was really bad. And it's like incredible game. So I'm really happy to hear that Fallout's kind of turning around, especially great time. You know, the show came out. I didn't know that patch wasn't out yet for Fallout. I thought that would be out.
Fallout 4? No, man.
Yeah.
I feel that was a missed opportunity. They should have had that ready to go.
That should have been ready like day one or even a little before, maybe.
Exactly.
No, not even, man.
Yeah, 25th.
It's crazy.
Fallout 4 still isn't. It still isn't Steam Deck verified. You know. But they're waiting on. They're waiting on the updates.
Yep, all of that's supposed to happen then. I think. Yeah.
That's weird, but yeah, that's
so
a missed
weird.
opportunity.
It's so weird. This is an old ass game.
Yeah,
and it's just game development is hard, but it can't. But it can't be that hard, man. Come on.
Yeah,
it can't be that hard that you couldn't figure out at least an Xbox like boost.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, well, I think they did have like some type of FPS boost kind of thing, naturally, but a full
1080 60. Yeah, well, 1080 60. Yeah, but like, you know.
I'm with you, Gene. I'm with you. Like, that should have been a no-brainer ready, especially when you know you got the show coming, you know, kind of thing. Get that cross,
Yeah. I mean, it is a no-brainer. You know that they had. It's close enough that they obviously tried, and I'm wondering like what the fuck happened.
Something went wrong, maybe.
That it's just gonna come out like a month later after the show. It's
I agree.
It's weird.
Just blame the Series S. That's the classic. That's the classic, dude.
I will say one last thing about all this that I did appreciate. You know, as a person, I'm not really few survival games I like. The games where they be like, okay, you got it. You know, you got to craft, you got to eat, you got to, you know, all this stuff. And I have to admit, like, they were also telling me, like, because I saw, like, you have your AP meter, your action points and abilities and things like that. But then I saw the meters where it's like, you know, your food and your thirst. And I'm like, you know, it's going to be one of those games, you know, you got to keep food. And then, if you keep food too long, it spoils. And then you get the rat. Like, that meter system is extremely neutered. Like, you can play for long hours of time before you even have to worry about it. And it's, again, from what the veterans are telling me, that used to be a very intense mechanic where you can only do like one or two things, and then you play through, you have to now scavenge, and people were annoyed. So now
you need to eat like an hour, like every hour or so, which is like so annoying, you know?
Yeah, that's too much.
4 or 5 hours, and I'm finally like at the halfway mark of being hungry or being thirsty. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's not inhibiting my gameplay flow. Right. And I know some hardcore people like that, but for me, I'm like, okay, this is much better. So I want to give them kudos for that, because I heard that system was also changed from how it was initially at launch. You know?
Yeah, I think that's a cool system, but for how punishing it was before, that's something you do for like a very hard mode in like the normal Fallout games or something like that, you know, the realism mode or whatever. Not for like an MMO where you're trying to play with your buddies or something like that. You don't want to be constantly doing that.
Also, you don't realistically get hungry after an hour, you know? What the fuck? What the fuck, you know? Like, it sounds like you're eating like 2-3 times a day, which is like an actual day, you know? Like, it's insane to have to eat like every hour or so. That's... If I ate every hour, I'd probably be dead by now.
I'm glad I'm benefiting off all the pain that all these guys.
Cog, you're winning in the end, dude.
Yes.
Fallout 76 was special to me because it was the first trip I did as a video game journalist.
Really?
Yeah. It was right when the Washington Post was considering to cover video games. And I was kind of like a test version of it, and then so I went out to West Virginia to cover the preview of some Fallout 76. So we actually stayed in the Greenbrier Hotel, which is actually represented in Fallout 76. In just completely. And that was a fun experience. I saw Mr. Manny plays. I've told Manny this. I saw Mr. Manny plays from far away, and he was like with friends. And I was like, holy shit, dude, that's YouTube star Mr. Matty Plays and his crew and his posse, yo. He's got a posse with him. He's so fucking famous that he's traveling with people, and there he is right there. That's fucking crazy.
That is really funny, dude. I love that.
I didn't say hi to him because I was so nervous, right? I was just like, what the fuck?
Is
What way I got to say this Mr. Matty Plays? I did meet Mike Minotti. So Mike Minotti over at Giant Bomb or Games Best Mornings with Jeff Grubb's best pal. He was actually the first modern games journalist I met ever. So that was fun.
Cool. That's awesome.
But yeah, we did a preview of 76. It was fun, because we played it for maybe 3 hours, and we played it in a multiplayer session, and so we were all working together. So it was pretty fun, and I had the game had a lot of promise, and then you don't realize that a lot of the problems were happening in longer sessions. But it was funny because I also tweeted a photo of me playing 76. And then they tapped me on the shoulder. They was like, "Hey, can you delete that?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry."
Damn.
And then there was somebody at the same time who was trying to sneak into the hotel because they knew that the 76 event was happening, and then they got escorted off. And then people on Reddit thought that the person that was being escorted off was me because I tweeted the fucking picture of 76. I was like, dude. That's not how video game NDAs work. I'm not gonna get arrested and escorted off the property because I tweeted a picture of fucking Fallout 76.
Hilarious.
Kevin Rafa wrote in, "Hey Brad and the Bradsters, I saw that Cog was playing Fallout 76 and wondered why he would punish himself with this. Was the hype from the TV show or was the lack of new releases?" So Kevin's obviously joking around, but
oh yeah.
I think it was the hype of the show, Cog. You were just feeling it. You were ready to go.
I needed to be in the wastelands after watching that show. Because the show is so good at representing the authenticity of and the feel of a Fallout game.
Yes.
Right. Just the, pulling up the pit boy, she gets the radiation, you hear the crackling.
The rads. Yeah,
rads. You know what I'm saying? It's just
good.
so little nuances. So I'm like, man, I really have to play a Fallout because let's be honest, it's a very brutal world, but it has this funny humor to it. It's just, So I'm like, I gotta play. So yeah, 76.
Want to hear the music again?
Bro, that iconic. And then what? Also for 76, they're offering so many free things also from the show. You get a 33 outfit. You get all this stuff to kind of commemorate what you just experienced and stuff like that. And they're onboarding. Another thing is, which I thought was really cool, is as soon as you stumble into the game, they give you the option to jump to level 20 with all these abilities and then pick these very specific builds. You know what I mean? So that most people have to grind for it because I'm hearing the game wasn't as fun from 1 to 20, but you had to get these abilities and stuff like that. So now they're really outfitting you out. So that was another thing that kind of made it all right, they want me to play. Let me give it a shot based on the way they set me up.
Yeah, they're making some smart changes to get people to make it more fun. It's important to hook players right away at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because if they bounce off early, they're probably never coming back.
Exactly.
That's what happened with me in 76. I just bounced off early. I'm just I don't know if and my problem with 76 is the same problem that Chris has. I like slow motion vets. I'm sorry.
Yeah, slow motion vets.
It's so
to me that just defines Fallout combat.
Good point.
Obviously in the modern times, and it's fun, it's addictive. I love being able to choose. It gives me the feeling of turn-based combat, and I'm playing that in Fallout I'm playing Fallout New Vegas because obviously I also caught the Fallout bug. And I started playing a little bit of Fallout 4, and I realized I played 700 hours of Fallout 4 already. I was like, I can't,
holy shit,
I can't fucking do this game again. So I was like, you know what? I've only played New Vegas 3 times in total. So I was like, you know what? Let me go back to New Vegas. So, so New Vegas feels more like an RPG where I'm actually worried about my positioning and making sure I'm getting the right percentage in the vets. That's always fun, and it feels like a turn-based system. And I don't like the flimsy lock-on feeling of 76.
Exactly.
I wish Fallout 76 solo would just allow you to do slow mo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And when you go into the group and it's okay, then it's a lock-on. That will be totally fine. If they put slow mo vets in solo play, I will be all over the 76. I'd be playing the shit out of it right now.
That's a good point.
It's really the only thing that's holding me back.
Yeah.
It's funny you bring up New Vegas. I've never played it, and I hear everyone tell me like it's the best Fallout. But fear not, gentlemen, fear not. Okay, so I came into like all these Bethesda games much later than everyone else. Like Skyrim was the first game I ever played from them.
Okay. Wow.
So, but I did play Fallout 3, played it. I enjoyed it. I played a lot of Fallout 4. I wasn't feeling it at the time. I think it's because I played The Witcher 3 before Fallout 4.
Sure.
And I was like,
that came out around the same time. That's true.
And then I was like, yeah, this is kind of getting lapped in my opinion. But I would like to go back to Fallout 4 someday. But fear not, gentlemen. I told Locke I will play Fallout New Vegas. I will make it happen. Because I told him I never played it, and he got like offended almost.
I see that. I see that.
Okay. All right, guys. I missed it.
Well, I missed it. Cog and Manny have been talking a lot about, you know, the New Vegas elitists or whatever, you know.
Yes.
And I tweeted about that too, and I deleted it because I was starting to hear from the New Vegas elitists, and it's like, but I get it though, because as I'm playing New Vegas, I'm like, yeah, this is pretty fucking amazing though. I get it.
It's infighting in the Fallout community, like who's got the best one.
I know it's so exhausting.
It is exhausting, but yeah, Brad, you definitely I'm excited to hear your thoughts on New Vegas.
Honestly, I'm very intrigued with it because it's Obsidian. I came into Obsidian also very late with a lot of other games, but I do enjoy their games a lot that I've played, and they're like my local developer. They're like 10 minutes from me, so I'm like, you know, shout out boys. I got to support my boys, my local game dev.
Go.
So yeah, I gotta do that, dude. It's been so funny. I even saw Maddie playing Fallout 76, and I know Maddie was a notorious. Yeah, dude. Look in general chat in our Discord. What? I screenshotted Maddie playing Fallout 76.
Wait, I gotta get the smoke this man gave me on Last Defining Duke. I can't believe it. You really, Cog? You actually played it? What?
I got the receipts, dude.
We got him in 4K? Okay.
We got him, dude. I got him right there.
Yeah. I love it. I love it.
You got some ammo for the show.
You got some ammo. I got ammo. Thank you for this. This is good. Good.
Yeah. I mean, if Maddie's playing it, like, the sky must be falling down or something's happening.
Yeah,
something's going crazy. All right, here we go. This is from AJ White. Summoners, question specifically for Cog here. Is the hate on Fallout 76 undeserved at this point? The game was unmitigated disaster at launch, sure, but Bethesda's done an amazing job at turning the game around, getting a really loyal and friendly fan base. I've played it a few times, and while it's still not what I want from Bethesda Game Studios, it's an enjoyable romp for me. What say you guys? Is the hate too much?
I mean, the hate initially was deserved. I mean, it was
initially 100%
dog pile when it launched.
Yeah.
We're not gonna act like this game did not do so much serious damage to Bethesda's reputation, to the point that I remember, I think it was Phil told me, so like Todd of them came to him, like Todd was depressed, you know, and it was bad for them. Like you got to understand, like the closest I remember is kind of like when CD Projekt Red went through it with
Cyberpunk.
Yeah. But this was even worse, you know, like it did serious damage to their reputation. Because prior to that, Bethesda's rep was so pristine. I don't know, Gene, if you went to E3s in the past. Like, one of my favorite things was always going to Bethesda Showcase. Like, it was an event. This was like, their fan base is such a premium and the experience is so good. So when this comes out and does this type of catastrophic damage to the reputation, now everything is in question now, right? And so at that point, yes. But to answer the question now, where they are now, to see them, one, commit to the rehabilitation of this game. Like, because they could have easily just said, okay, look, it didn't work out. We got to move on.
Like Anthem, move on, you know?
They could have Anthemed. You're absolutely right. They could have Anthemed this situation. They committed.
You shouldn't have given up an Anthem either, though.
I know. I like the Anthem too.
Anthem was all right, man. It had promise.
It had promise, man. The foundation was there. As a Destiny guy, I wanted the competition from Anthem. You know, moving on. Like to see them recommit. And now, again, as a person who was scared away from such a negative pub from this game, and to now play it and to hear people say, oh God, yeah, that wasn't in the game in the beginning. Oh yeah, NPCs weren't in the game in it. Oh, stuff like all these mechanics that they've added. And now I'm like, yo, this is actually pretty fun. Me and the homies were playing it for like 6 hours on Saturday. Like we were just having a romp. Like
you're making me want to play 76 now too.
Oh no.
I'm telling you, like look, is it perfect? No, but it's more fun that I wanted to admit I was having. Like, I was just like, all right, yeah, this is kind of fun. And like exploring, a dark, like a subterranean little base and reading stuff. And it gave me some semblance of single player Fallout, especially when I was playing by myself. But then when I played with people, I'm like, okay, I get it now. And yeah, so I'll give them credit for stick-to-itiveness, like staying the course, not giving up, and continuing to invest. And according to Maddie, who's actually played a lot of I haven't even played like the other expansions and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm still messing with West Virginia. Apparently, there's so much more content that I haven't even seen yet. So there's a lot there. There's definitely a lot there.
Yeah, totally. Jace Tulmovic wrote in, Lord Cog, back when Fallout 76 came out, I was amped. My wife and I played the beta, and then my stepdad, a few of our friends joined in too. I played it for over 100 hours, but it was a buggy mess. I often have the idea of going back for the platinum. What I want to know is, how is the game now, all these years later? Is it still a mess that can be fun with friends, or did they actually turn around and make a functioning game? So, Cog, after everything you've told me about, sounds like they've turned it around quite a bit. Much more functioning. Like, it sounds like this guy played on PS4 also, and it was garbage on that. So, it's been a while. So, I think it's probably it probably runs stable now at least. Yes, so I think you're good on that front.
I played it on PS4 Pro, and it was not good already.
Yeah, it was not good.
Even on the Pro version. On
the Pro,
but that's how old this game is.
It's old. Yeah,
that's the best we had is PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
I would just say, Jace, it sounds like if you played the game 100 hours back when it was in its worst state, I think you'd come back and have a good time. I think you'll have a great time. Yeah, it'll be a whole new game to you, it sounds like.
Fallout creator, Many a True Nerd, who's probably the only Fallout creator that's bigger than Manny, honestly, is... actually, I think Manny's actually bigger. But Many a True Nerd is an awesome video essayist. But he just came out with a video on what's the best Fallout to start with. And he was describing 76 as a cozy one.
Sure.
And it's like, yeah, I can see that, because it was actually pretty cozy even when it was bad. I was like, yeah, it's actually kind of nice to just not have a goal and just explore what's this great map. Because I think the reason why people love it is because the map is actually just...
It's a good location, definitely.
It's a great location.
I selfishly wish that was the location for single player Fallout.
I know. Which, again, Fallout 76 offline, man. Just give it to us, please.
Fair.
Like Dragon Quest 10 offline,
I was about to say that to you, Gene.
Need that shit too.
Please give us that, for fuck's sake, dude. Like, come on, Square. Killing me here, dude. Good Lord. All right, it's time for Sort It Out on this, or in this segment. We just talk about something that's bothering us in the gaming industry, something that needs a little sorting, Maybe this game's not so hot. Maybe it's got some problems. Maybe someone in the game industry is getting a little too crazy. Maybe they need to settle down a little bit. Or a company. Anyone like that. But we're going to start off to see if Cog, if you have one, is there anything this week that you can think of?
Yeah, this week's been interesting. I think so many sort of out, so I'm going to try to narrow down a sort of, I guess, the whole, I'm going to go with the PlayStation overlay, because I'm a big Ghost of Tsushima fan. And I'm a person that, like, I love this game. I'm like, okay, I know it's coming to PC, director's cut, the whole bit. And like now we get the the PlayStation overlay. Yeah. Right. Which for the first time is like gonna give you trophies, you're able to log in. So now my thing is, PlayStation, I just want you to sort it out when it comes to my old PlayStation PC games. I would like credit. You know what I'm saying? Like Horizon is over there, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what was it? The Nixus did the Spider-Man and the Miles Morales ports on PC as well.
Days Gone.
One of my favorite ones. What's that walking cinema? Detroit Becomes Human. I love that game. And I'm like, I want trophies. So PlayStation, Nixus, sort it out. I want the back catalog of all my old PC games. And then also, as a person who plays on the ROG Ally, I want that credit, because no disrespect, PC Master Race guys, the Steam achievements don't do nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Yeah. If it's not an Xbox achievement or it's not a PlayStation trophy, I want the credit. I want people to know I did this. And there's a lot of games I play on PC and I'm like, it's like I did it for free. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. You know what I'm saying? Kind of thing. So sort it out, damn it, PlayStation. I know you're getting there, but finish the job, baby. Finish the job.
You think they could like put in something like retroactive? It'll read your Steve achievements or something like that.
Which is what they seem to be doing with the Ghost of Tsushima release with the Steam and Epic Store achievements. Also looks like they're gonna collaborate, stuff like that.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's good. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Step in the right direction. Just need a little more work.
Yeah, just a little more nudge.
Gene, do you have anything right now? It's okay. I know you were thinking about something, but we can come back to you later.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a continuation of what I was saying earlier, and I think we have a reader writing about this. But yeah, started up Bethesda. What's up with the lack of Fallout content? Why does Fallout Shelter have all the stuff? I should play Fallout Shelter. It kind of makes me want to play Fallout Shelter because I am starting to. I can get myself into like a management type sim type of deal. And Fallout seems like a perfect one, right? So I can totally see myself getting into that. Because I part of the reason why I love Starfield is because I actually liked the land management and real estate stuff in it. It was pointless, yes. There's no reason why you need all those resources, but it was still fun to set it all up and make it together. And Power World also got me on that too, you know. Where you just create a whole setup, this self-sustaining ecosystem, and Fallout Shelter sounds fun, but yeah, it's weird to go into Fallout 4, which is the last one, a 9-year-old game. I played Fallout 4 when I first moved to DC. That's crazy, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, it came out the same year as Bloodborne, man. You know, and Witcher 2. Yeah,
I played that when I was back at Game Trailers way back in the day before they were extinct.
Man. Yeah, Fallout 4 is.
I used to watch Game Trailers heavy. That was my joy.
Oh, really? Yeah, dude, Game Trailers was so cool back in the day before I even worked there. I loved them.
But I mean, Fallout 4 is so ancient that I can get like 5-6 hours on the Steam Deck playing it, you know, because that's how not intensive the game is. So it's you know, I mean, I know Cog and Maddie have been talking about this, and every single like Bethesda creator has been talking about this, but I don't understand why nobody decided to give these 9-year-old Fallout 4 tools to another studio and be like, hey, make Fallout 3 with this. And make Fallout New Vegas with this exact same system with the control setup. I don't understand why. Obviously, Bethesda's busy. They were making Starfield and they're making Elder Scrolls 6. That's fine. But yeah, I don't understand the why none of this is spun up. I don't get why the only IP that seem to have like all these support studios to create like all these spin-off titles is Call of Duty and Nintendo games. You know, like Nintendo is spinning off their games. Ubisoft make a Tactics Mario game. Hey, make a Peach game. The studio that we're not even gonna fucking credit. You know. Call of Duty in Activision, they're like, hey, we're going to make all these types of different Call of Duty experiences, you know, and every single studio is doing that to our detriment, right? And then we don't see that for Fallout or any other Gears of War, you know. We got Gears Tactics made by the same team, you know. But where's our other Gears of War? Where's our third person Halo? You know.
Thank you. We've been on them, bro. With me and Maddie, we have started that whole crusade. Like we're putting the pressure on them, man. Todd. Here's the thing that even makes it worse with Fallout is that literally isn't the initial creator of the Fallout series in exile, which they own, and Obsidian, which did Vegas, who some feel arguably is the best.
You literally have all the tools.
You literally have, like, there should be Vault Tech Studios, you know what I'm saying, where they're making. We cannot go 8 years without a Fallout game this generation. That's
they're gonna make Vault Tech Studios just like 343 Studios. You know? That's the issue, bro. That's the issue. You know, it's like. Even on the PlayStation side, and PlayStation doesn't do like an amazing job with like their IP, but at least with Horizon, for some reason, they got all these other studios, you know, like, hey, VR studio, make a Horizon game for this, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? Why are Horizon fans being so well fed? You know?
Great question.
Facts.
Too much food. Too much food.
Like they're getting a Monster Hunter like online version, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, where is this Horizon community? It's sold a lot, right?
Yeah.
But is there a Horizon community that's demanding all these different Horizon experiences? You know, no, I don't see that. You know, they're getting a Horizon TV show. You know,
Cog, I have a question. Do you think with Fallout, maybe Bethesda is too protective of it? about letting people working on it?
Absolutely. Todd is, from my understanding, those are his babies, and he's extremely protective. The issue is going to have to come down to, in my opinion, either a Sarah Bond or Phil and them stepping in and say, look, we're never going to force you to make something that no one as a developer wants to hear that. But at the same time, they love money. And you're never going to strike as hot as you are right now with the zeitgeist of this show, where you look at all this engagement that they're getting. We're getting me to play 76. You're getting people to play Fallout 4. It is insane how much Fallout now, people who never played the games are learning about this game that we've loved all this time. So to me, this now raises Fallout as a tent pole, in the ecosystem. And I think it's a huge missed opportunity to not listen. When they said about Defy the Duke with Manny, it was like they could literally get the easiest W at the Xbox Showcase /E3 by literally showing a Fallout 5 PNG and say you're working on it. the roof will go off. We were like, oh my God, they're doing it. Like, they need to have a more concerted approach.
Pick a number. Put that on the back of a Vault uniform. Make that your Vault for Fallout 5, and then boom. Hype.
Done. Yep. That's it. That's all they got to do. So to me,
it's Vault 69 in Fallout 5.
Vault 420.
Yeah. The opportunity is there. I'm confident that they're at least having these discussions, because I see what this show is doing. And when you have something like this, you've got to take advantage. So we'll see. But I'm going to keep the pressure on them, man.
Yeah, Cog, with Microsoft, this is something I want them to do with Warcraft, is kind of license it out to other people. Like, I want a turn-based RPG so bad that's Warcraft. I would love, because Warcraft's such a historic franchise, and the only thing we really get is WoW, which is of course still big, but it's such a big universe. You could do a lot more with it.
You're absolutely right. Like the spin-off, even if you're not ready and Todd wants to do the main line, right? Because he even told the showrunners, hey, you can't, I don't want you guys to do this in this show because we're saving that for Fallout 5. He said this on record. But at minimum, to your point, Brad, is an excellent point. Where are the spin-offs in different game genres with this expansive universe, right? There's so many missed opportunities. So I'm looking at that. You're looking at Warcraft, all these properties that they own. There should be more potential for these type of games and spin-off genres.
See, that's the thing. Like Fallout 4 has like a building mechanic that nobody really used or nobody really needed. And that's crazy, because it's like, why don't you just take that mechanic and just make Fallout builders,
Yeah,
but bro,
I mean, there's two Dragon Quest builder games.
And then you could just make Fallout 4 like a better game that has like better system that isn't bogged down with all this other shit.
Yeah,
I'm with you, bro. I'm with you.
Yeah. My sort of, I guess, is it's kind of a nitpick, I guess, but so I recently played Silent Hill 2 on the Xbox, my Series X. Then. The enhanced edition, or whatever the fuck it's called, the HD remaster. Not the best way to play the game, but it's the most convenient way, so I did it. Really cool. You can just play your old games, which I love. The only thing is you had to sign into you have your ID you sign into, or whatever, your account. Then I had to also sign into my Xbox 360 account or whatever to play it, because it was an Xbox 360 game.
Interesting.
And it's like, I was like, what the fuck was my Xbox 360 account? I couldn't even remember. I eventually found it, but I just had to go through all these kind of hoops to get it going. And every time I would log in to play the game, it would make me redo it. I was just like,
crazy.
fuck.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if it's just something with my accounts separated and they need to be connected more. I wasn't exactly sure, because it had been a while since I played a lot of those.
So are you trying to access your old cloud saves from Silent Hill 2?
I don't know. It's just it's in my old Xbox 360 account or whatever. And it's an older account, so I didn't remember what it was.
Wow. Oh, and then so you changed Xbox account?
You changed Xbox accounts?
Yeah, because it was on an old email or something like that. And I was like, whatever.
GameTrace.com email.
I was just like, yeah. Well, one of them was my old Easy Allies email, so I was like, well, there goes that account.
There goes that.
But I was just like, why can't I just fucking just plug this shit in and just work? Like, why do I have to sign into my old account? I don't know. Like,
it probably has something to do with the fact that you had to switch accounts or something. Because I've never
Like
that's crazy. I've never because I booted up my old Fallout New Vegas save, and that ran.
Oh,
just
that's
fine.
good. So it's just a problem I ran into. But I was like, Phil, what's going on here, bud? What am I doing wrong, Phil? Help me out here, Phil.
Yeah, we got to get some tech support to merge that.
Yeah, help me out here, Phil. It's
been a while.
Yeah.
The account merging for sure.
All right, let's hear from Corey Savas. Sorted out Bethesda Game Studios. Fallout 4 came out 9 years ago. How did you not plan a new game to coincide with the TV series? At this rate, if no one else is allowed to develop a Fallout game, it'll be 20 years between Fallout 4 and 5. This is unacceptable. We all pretty much agree.
Yeah.
We were spoiled back then when Fallout 3 came out, and 18 months later Fallout New Vegas came out. Like we had no I had no idea how I had no idea how good we had it at that time, because I was like, oh yeah, a new Fallout game. Hell yeah, let's play this.
Man,
this is great.
Obsidian made some good games for how much time they had. I can't believe some of their games turned out as well, just for how short their development cycles
Shout out
were.
Alpha Protocol,
Shout out Alpha Protocol. And they've been on the record, Obsidian, and said, the CEO at Furcos, he's on the record saying, I would love to do a new Fallout. Another Fallout
how are you guys not giving them Fallout? What do they got to do?
It's Todd's baby. It's Todd's baby.
It's like,
got to be.
Come on, Todd. You could do Fallout 5, Todd. Like you said, let them do like a New Vegas thing, like a spin-off game. I don't know. New Mexico or something. Like, I don't fucking know, something.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Just make it small again. Just a small square map again. I love that. I actually love the Fallout maps that they're just squares, That's awesome,
And Cog, I was gonna say, like, maybe Obsidian just doesn't want to do one or whatever. Maybe they're just like they're totally fine, but it sounds like they want to.
I'll show you the quotes. These are recent, and they've been chirping pretty loud. So yeah, it's interesting, man. It's interesting because I will say this from a studio history, when Obsidian kind of separated from them, I felt like Obsidian had a lot to prove.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we do these style of games better, kind of thing. So I don't know if it may be not ego and stuff like that, but I know at one point the relationship was contentious a little bit, but it's since improved, and now everyone's under the same roof, so to speak, right? So again, Todd, was my man Brian Fargo, Furcos. Please, Phil, get them in the room.
Get them in the room, dude.
Say, let's come up with a plan.
Yeah.
Let's come up with an action plan for the next, 3 to 5 years, or what guys could be working on, because you guys are sitting on a treasure trove right now. If you don't take advantage of this.
Cog, I think
I will say, as somebody who is also works under like a massive billionaire conglomerate type person, Amazon, Bezos, right? It is fascinating to know how little each of these segments talk to each other.
Yep.
Amazon and Twitch and the Washington Post.
Yeah, absolutely.
None of us do anything.
None of them talk
with each other at all.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if Microsoft is navigating that, where they're like, oh, we have all these companies now. How do we get them to talk to each other? How do we unify this as one corporate culture?
That's the problem with
also maintaining that double speak of like, oh, but we want everyone to be their own independent.
See, that's the problem. Yep.
Exactly.
We don't want to be hands off, but you nailed it. In corporate, everyone works in a silo. They're all they rarely communicate. It's up to Microsoft to at least initiate these conversations.
You need somebody to initiate and spool all this together, and it's not happening.
Don't they have people to do that?
Usually won't be. It won't be because of Bezos or Phil Spencer or fucking what's his name at the Microsoft CEO. I'm literally blanking out, but
Satya or whatever.
Satya Nadella.
Satya Nadella. Probably wouldn't even be them because they're too high up that they don't even fucking think about this.
It's gonna have to be Sarah Barner or probably Matt Booty. It will have to be Matt Booty.
Yeah,
because he's like running the studio. So.
Hire us, Microsoft. We'll help you out.
We'll help you out.
We'll sort it out for you.
Yeah, we'll sort that shit out. They will talk together when we're in there. If you're not like, how do you like Blizzard and Obsidian are like 5 minutes away from each other, literally 5 minutes away. Come on, guys. Let's get something cooking, boys.
They're different companies, so it's whatever.
It's like, just fuck it. Too hard to manage it. Too hard
to manage, so fuck it. Just whatever. Just make whatever you guys are making. We're hands off. We're hands off now.
Yeah. Cog, man, I've talked to you about this before, I believe, but like, I think Obsidian was one of the best purchases Microsoft made.
My man. Bro.
They were smart with that. They were smart with that.
I was one of my favorite. I like when I heard that announcement, I was like cheering, like a sports team. Look, we picked up, we got our new draft picks. I was like, I'm loving. Yeah, they are the like as far as Western RPG. Like you know what I like about them?
They're efficient, man. They get stuff out.
They're efficient. They have multiple teams. And what I like about them, the level of quality is there. But what showed me, even with a game that I was kind of upset that they were developing, which initially was Ground, I'm like, oh, what the hell are they doing? Who wants this? And I played that game. I'm like, man, this game is actually good. Like everything they do and the versatility and with the genres, they're excellent, man. I got a chance to interview, what's his name, Josh Sawyer. And again, a person I was hating on Pendement coming in. I'm like, this is actually pretty good when you actually play.
I should play Pendement.
Yeah, I played a little of it. It was really good for what I played of it.
Really good for what I played of it. Even what things that I consider that I think were not going to go well for them. They're a very versatile studio. And what I like is they have self-awareness. They're like, these are the things we do well. We don't necessarily need to do open world, kind of things. We can do hub world, tell these tight, concise stories, multiple endings. They've got a lot going on for them. I absolutely love that studio. That was definitely one of my favorite pickups when I think it was I call it the class of 2018, when they had like all those studios. That, and obviously Ninja Theory is going to hopefully show what they need to do. And Playground, they've been keeping a lot of Xbox on their back, man, for sure.
Yeah, totally. Let's see. Michael Arkridge wrote in, Aloha Summoners. I've got to sort it out for Dave the Diver devs. Beautiful game, but there's an annoying build version watermark always on that you can't turn off. What the F? It's not on any of the trailers or screenshots either. So, to the crew, anything in games you love that you wish the devs would just sort it out? I didn't know that. I haven't played Dave the Diver, but a watermark seems like a very strange thing to keep in your game when it's been out.
I played it, but I forgot about it. I don't know. I didn't really like Dave the Diver that much. It was okay, Yeah,
that's fine. Right. Yeah, totally.
I heard good things, but yeah.
A watermark though? I don't know. That just seems weird.
Another game by Koreans. Koreans have been cooking a lot lately.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that was a Korean game. That's interesting.
Also a Korean game, all Koreans.
Yeah, the Koreans are definitely coming into the console space and more PC space. And of course, they were known for like MMOs and stuff like that for a long time. But it's cool to see them.
And PC games too. That's why to celebrate, like when Kim Hyung-tae was like, people looked at me like I was crazy that I'm making an exclusive game on PlayStation. It's like, yeah, man, you're insane, dude.
Yeah,
nobody's playing PlayStation 5 in Korea, man. There's no market for that.
They're trying to do that push there now.
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, you gotta start somewhere.
But Koreans are the same as Japanese. We're not gonna. We love our handhelds,
Yeah, that's true.
And we love PC. We love to play on PC.
Well, maybe that'll tie in with the next systems we get down the line from Xbox and PlayStation. Probably having some handheld thing for both. I can see.
Yeah.
Yep.
Steam Deck, too popular to ignore, man. Can't ignore it.
Yeah. Too good. It's my favorite console.
Yeah, exactly. Honestly. People love it, dude. This is from the Brownie Bro. Hey, Sigmas. I've got to sort it out for Brad Ellis. The slander on indie games these recent weeks have been heinous. First, you dunked on Outer Wilds. I did not. The greatest game ever. Then, a few weeks later, you said Signalis was only okay. I stand by that. How dare you say such a thing about the best game involving space lesbians? My wife and I just finished a recent playthrough of Signalis, and she was aghast at what you said about it. Take these L takes and get out of here. All jokes aside, what you've been doing, Elsom, has been great, and I look forward to each episode. Eager to hear your thoughts about Gunbrella, as I recently played it myself. Take care and have a lovely week. Yeah, we'll talk about that more recently. I love indie games.
Yeah, next week I'll probably get a Dave the Diver fan saying, you just said Dave the Diver was okay. What the fuck?
Yeah, okay is not good enough for some people. I said the Outer Wilds, I just didn't like the rewind thing. It's just not for me. I fully acknowledge that it's a beloved game, and that's great. I will revisit it someday, though. And Signalis I liked. I just didn't love it as much as everyone else. That's all. That's fair. But thanks for writing in. I appreciate that. All right, boys, keep it up. The exact opposite. Stuff we're pleased with. Who's doing good out there right now? Anybody want to start? Anyone got anything off the top of their head?
Keep it up. There's a lot of people doing a thing right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna give. Try to give someone like not that doesn't get a lot of credit sometimes.
I'll say keep it up to PlayStation for coming out with a music video for Stellar Blade. I thought that was cool. I like.
Yeah, that's
we talk about like marketing around certain games and releasing and everything like that, and then here comes PlayStation. It's like, oh, here's a music video by a K-pop star, and it's a pretty cool song. And like you read these articles. Remember those articles about Cyberpunk and about how it was racist against Asians to depict Cyberpunk? Right. And here comes Stellar Blade. A pure Korean product of Cyberpunk, of Korean Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
But are we gonna read articles about how great it is to see a true slice of Asian Cyberpunk vision being on the mass market?
No,
we're not gonna see that article. We're not gonna see that.
No, good point.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? No, I agree.
Yeah, why not?
I think my keep it up is going to be like keep it up movie and television studios as far as video game adaptations. Keep it up as far as respecting the lore. Yeah. Right. And why people are passionate about these series. So this goes out to everybody. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the Fallout series. And obviously, Gene, you got to cover, The Last of Us and stuff like that. And you see the difference when that quality is there and how it affects gamers and non-gamers. It gets people into these series. And
the Halo community is just in shambles right now, man.
Poor Chris.
It's so hard for the Halo community right now. My buddy Hidden Xperia, he is just lamenting right now because it's like, because you see the numbers boosted for Fallout. And then that didn't happen for Halo at all. At all, man. Like there was no bump for Halo Infinite.
No, you're absolutely right.
There's a product there's a modern product that is on fire right now. That's actually good, Halo Infinite, right?
Yeah.
But the show didn't do anything for the IP.
For the IP.
And I'm saying this as someone who kind of defended the show,
People like season 2, I heard. I haven't watched season 2. People say season 2 is actually a tremendous improvement. But to your point, it didn't move the needle for the show.
Honestly, I would say season 2 isn't that good, honestly.
This is the first time I heard it ain't good. Let me hear this.
Yeah, because I'm saying this as someone who hasn't finished it yet, because I haven't finished the last 3 episodes. Okay, but because of what I've seen, it kind of turned me off. I'm just like, I don't know if I want to finish this shit, man.
Oh wow!
I actually think I like the first season more because even though they were more out of pocket, like they were, it was out of pocket. Like I was
wild out of pocket.
What kind of stupid shit are they going to put on next? I'm actually interested, right? Whereas in this one, I'm just like, this is just bad and boring. And like, I was really turned off by the actual battle on Reach when they actually wrote in an excuse for every single Spartan to not have their armor on, and I was just like, you went out of your way and you cooked up a reason for the armor to be off. And that's just like that just feels so wrong to me. Like Like I can feel you making an excuse because having the action sequences with the armor on will be more expensive, and then so it's a stupid excuse. Oh, your armor's all locked up. It's like Metroid Other M, and Samus having all of her powers like locked for no reason. I'm like, why did you lock away the Spartan armor in the TV show about Spartans?
About Spartan, bro. Don't get me started.
In the greatest battle depicted in Halo history. This is the most important battle in Halo history, and none of the Spartans have their fucking armor on. Are you fucking kidding me?
I was going to give it a chance, and then you tell me this.
They don't have their armor on, man. It's insane.
Man.
I don't even care that Master Chief was taking his helmet off all the time, but you completely fumbled the Battle of Reach,
Yeah. Damn. Well, that's why you need people working on your show who actually care about the source material. Fallout, great example. Cared about the source material. Last of Us, obviously. Shout out to Castlevania also.
I would say Castlevania is still my favorite video game.
It's mine, but I just love Castlevania. I'm a big Castlevania fan.
They did it better. They retold the story in a better way, but also
they did a good job.
They did the same thing that The Last of Us did and the Fallout series did at the same time. Which is even trickier. Like retell the story in a different way, but also use the world and the lore to enhance that story already. They even race swap characters in Castlevania, and it was sick. People loved it. Isaac was just a black dude, and he was the sickest black dude of all time.
Okay,
he
had a cool story. Yeah.
Did you watch Castlevania?
I did not get to that one. I didn't even know. I got to get to that now, man.
Oh, you got cool. The first season itself. I haven't watched the second season at all. Have you watched the second season? or the
of Castlevania?
Not second season, but the new.
Nocturne.
New
Yeah,
series.
Nocturne? I've seen Nocturne. Yeah,
is that good?
I didn't like as much as the other ones, but I did like it. I thought it was cool.
Okay,
I still enjoyed it though. There's some good shit. Yeah, Castlevania show was good. As someone who's played like every Castlevania game and like seeing like PS2 characters in the show, I was like,
that's fire.
Dude.
Fire.
No one talks about those games that much, but it's cool to see them. They're not amazing games, but it's still cool to see them in there.
Yeah, from the character action Castlevania games, exactly. You know?
Yeah, like Hector and Isaac. Yeah,
Hector and Isaac, exactly. You know.
Keep it up. Let's see. I'm just gonna give it the shift up, man. It's really cool to see like a Korean developer getting like that AAA push from like one of the big three. You know, you don't see that very often, especially a single player game. So I think that's really cool. And I think it's opening up to, I mean, I guess it's just cool to see Korean games come forward a lot more, like Liza P. Definitely a big one. I think that turned a lot of people on to like Korean, like change their opinion maybe on single player Korean games. Definitely just kind of making a splash. So it seems Stellar Blade's kind of following in that footstep. So that's great. I'm all for that.
The news cycle on this has been that's been pushed by Stellar Blade. It's interesting. I really love that IGN Japan interview with Yoko Taro and Kim Hyung-dae, the director and CEO of Shift Up. You rarely see interviews like that where two creators who are kind of chasing the same thing, and one is obviously inspiring the other. Just sit down and have a chat like that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You don't even really see that in like movies all that often. You might see that among actors, right? Actors will say, "Oh, I love your work" or whatever like that. But you don't really see like a bunch of directors sitting and just like vibing together. Especially one you would imagine might be competitive with the other. And then just to hear them just sit down and just gas each other up and talk about the story and the differences between, there was a really interesting interview where Yoko Taro was like, yeah, Japanese development took a long time because, we all had our own proprietary engines going on, so it took us a while to adapt to the modern video game landscape that's global.
Yeah, I think all that shit's great. Like, Gene, I don't know if you saw, but like a lot of the Final Fantasy interviews Square's been putting up for games that are coming out, like the Pixel remasters, they did one with like a lot of the old staff just chatting about the games, like Sakaguchi, and for Rebirth they did one with Nomura, Katase, and Nojima, just all chatting about the game. It's like, I love shit like that. I wish more game developers would do that kind of stuff. It's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also the Last of Us, they had the Grounded Part 2 documentary that came out like a couple months ago, and that was
so
really
cool.
fascinating.
I love that.
Super cool to see. You see how much effort they put into. I love making of documentaries, man. The Halo 2 making of documentary that came with the Halo 2 Collector's Edition. That's like legendary, man. To me, that's like the Citizen Kane of making of video game documentaries.
Yeah, I need to watch sometime some of that Double Fine one.
Yeah,
for
I gotta get back
Psychonauts,
to that.
I think it is.
Psychonauts, yep.
Man, Psychonauts 2 was so good, dude. Wow, what a game.
Yeah, I want to see what they're cooking up.
Yeah, this is from Steven Campos. Hello, everyone. Guys, I want to give a big keep it up to the people who keep not using the RSS feed for podcasts and just straight up use the old method of watching or listening to the podcast. I feel like a baby boomer with people telling me, just use the RSS feed. It puts your podcast in a simple and organized way. And I'm like, yeah, but I like the old method, though. So keep up, everyone, and let's continue to not use the RSS feed.
That's what I do too. I just use the Patreon feed and I click into the video
that's what I do, dude.
Boot up the YouTube app and I just close my phone because I go for YouTube
doing that.
We're boomers, it's fine.
We're boomers. I just want the raw native app, baby.
Yeah. All right, this is from Alex Cabrera. Hello, Chosen Undead Brad and the Blue Phantoms Gene and Cog. I have to give Square Enix Creative Business Unit 1. I know Colin loves those names for all those studios. Keep it up. FF7 was released when I was 10 years old and was the game that showed me what the medium was truly capable of. A world you want to save and characters with actual depth that you come to love along your adventure. Since 1997, I've played through the OG at least once every year and a completion overall in my favorite property in the medium. Thank you, Creative Business Unit 1, for treating what is a very special game to so many of us with such care. It's obvious that the team working on it are true fans of the OG. The way they respect the source material, especially with how they have nailed every character and their interactions with one another, is remarkable. Thank you, CBU1. And here's to sticking the landing with part 3. Hopefully sometime before I hit 41. P.S. Take this combat system going 40s in all FF games. You've basically created your own genre here, and it slaps. PSS. If Ishikawa isn't writing FF17, this is going to turn into a sorted out real quick. Ishikawa, she's worked on a lot of 14, so she's very beloved in that community. She's a very good writer.
Bro, I play Rebirth at 42, so you'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be playing Remake 3 when I'm like 45, 46. That's depressing.
Ah, man, it's all good. Age is just a number. We aging up. That's just the way it goes.
That's the way it go.
That's just the way it goes.
Yeah.
It won't stop. That's right.
Stop. Definitely won't stop.
Well, as Fallout TV show says, time is the apex predator.
Yes.
Bars. Remember that.
I just want to comment on Alex's post about the staff involvement on Remake and Rebirth. And I think what's great about it is they have a lot of the people that worked on the original, which is important. But they also have a lot of probably new talent in there to bring new ideas and stuff like that. So I think that marriage of old and new somehow worked really well. And then retaining,
Hamaguchi being the face of the new team.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. They're giving like a new star time to shine and all that stuff. And he's fucking great. So I love all that stuff.
I love seeing that legacy shit just get passed down. And it's so awesome to see.
It's great. It's super important. Yeah.
He's so good at it. It's like he's super passionate.
He gets it. Yeah.
He totally gets it. Nice. He is absolutely the next McMaster in Square Enix. Really cool.
Definitely. The next Yoshi P, who's like, it's great to see new faces come up in companies because we need it, Can't rely on the oldies forever, as good as they are.
Great.
All right, this is from Hayden Glass. Howdy, subs. With Brad playing Gunbrella, I wanted to give a passionate and firm keep up to publisher Devolver Digital. I think they do a fantastic job publishing a wide variety of smaller indie-type games. I can't name all their games here, but the list is long and impressive. Personal favorites of mine include Pepper Grinder, Children of the Sun, and The Messenger. Yeah, Devolver picks really good games to publish. They put out a lot of great games. I want to play Pepper Grinder. It looks really fun. It's definitely on my list after Gunbrella.
Yeah, Devolver. I mean, Messenger was my jam too. I love The Messenger.
Yeah. Did you play Sea of Stars, Cog?
No, I didn't get around to it. I've heard amazing things about Sea of Stars.
Yeah, it's really good. God. I've been playing through it slowly, and it's really good. I really like it, especially like the retro RPGs, but it's a talented team, definitely.
Yeah, shout out to Devolver, man. They got their eye on the Cult. I think Cult of the Lamb was on them.
Yep.
Too, right?
Yep.
Jesus, look at this lineup.
Yeah, their lineup is really good. They put out a lot of great games. So yeah, definitely shout out. Love those indie games.
Oh, for sure.
All right, boys. We're going to talk a little bit about Gunbrella, which was just brought up. So this is a Devolver Digital indie game that I've been playing a little bit on the side.
All right.
2D action side-scrolling stuff. So the whole premise of the game is... the game starts with you are just some random guy. Your family gets killed. Your character is distraught, seeks revenge. At the crime scene, there is a weapon left there that is a Gunbrella, which is essentially a gun and umbrella combined, penguin shit, all that cool stuff. So this game is, like I said, it's actually side-scrolling, but so with the Gunbrella, you're going through stages, you're shooting guys, all that good stuff. Your gun is a shotgun. It has infinite ammo, but you can get different types of ammo for the gun. You can buy, like, machine gun bullets, so because your shotgun doesn't have a lot of range, you got to get close for that thing. But if you get the machine gun, you can shoot further away. But you got to be careful of that stuff. There's grenades you can get to fight guys. But what's cool about the umbrella is it gives you a lot of mobility. Not only can you lift yourself in the air, which is really fun, and glide around so you can get to higher platforms. It goes into the platform, and you're jumping off walls and all that stuff. You're gliding, really fun. But it can also be a tool used in combat. So with this umbrella, you can dash into guys, stun them, so you can get a quick shot in there. Because this game, you have some hearts, but you can die pretty quick. It's a pretty challenging game, especially on the hard difficulty, which I'm playing on because that little push, got to have a little edge to your combat. But you can also block with the umbrella, and if you perfect dot or perfect parry it or whatever, block with it, you can reflect bullets back at guys or their projectiles back. So that comes into the boss fights. But it's like a kind of violent game. And it's not overly gory or anything like that, but it's also kind of cozy in some weird way where you're killing a bunch of dudes in the game. But I like the environments a lot. You know, the whole thing is like you have stages or like maps you go through, but you go to train stations and you kind of travel to different areas, like some really cool towns with shops and all that good stuff. There's also side quests you can get. Like one of them was this guy's daughter or a young girl was missing. You had to go out in the forest and go find her and escort her back. Really fun stuff like that. Meaningful rewards. You know, you can get some upgrades to your umbrella, like damage, reload speed, all that stuff. Super important because some of the boss fights are pretty tough. Like I was dying on these guys like 10, 12 times. Pretty challenging fights. So it's really fun to go all that kind of stuff. But it's... I don't want to give away any of the story, so I won't, but it's a quest about revenge, and there's some interesting threads leading me along where I'm like, okay. I'm following this story. I'm digging it right now. The NPCs you meet throughout the world are pretty cool. There's not a lot to them, but there's enough going on where you're like, yeah, I like you. They got a little personality, a little bit going on like that stuff. But it's a very simple game. I don't think it's super long. I think I'm pretty far into the game, but there's some sinister undertones going on. There's like some cult activity going on, some weird monsters I don't quite understand yet what's happening, some cult in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of weird stuff, mystery why your family was killed, and this character you are on your quest for revenge. I do enjoy. There's not a lot I could say about it, but I am enjoying my time with it so far. If you like 2D fast-paced action, you know, it's like Contra almost, not quite as hectic as Contra. You know, Contra, you die in one hit. It's not like that at all. You take some hits, but it's really fun, man. I'm really enjoying my time with it. I think the mobility is really cool. Cool side scroller game. I would recommend checking it out. I don't think it's very expensive either. Just another sweet indie game and a pile of a mountain of indie games that I need to play. Gunbrella is a nice, I think, pretty quick hitter. So I would check it out if I was you guys. I'd recommend it. It's a cool game.
Cool. It looks really cool.
Yeah.
I love the art style. Very distinct, like art style. But yeah, that Gunbrella joint, it looked like it got some darkness to it too.
Yeah, there. Like I said, there's some kind of dark stuff going on. There's some themes that seem pretty intense.
There's some noir punk energy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like that's what I was saying. Like kind of cozy. Some of the environments. You're just like, all right, I'm feeling this. Some nice music going on, some jazzy stuff. Nice. But yeah, it's a cool little game. I'm enjoying it so far. Oh, I can't wait to see how it ends. But
you been playing on Switch or PC?
I have PC right now. Because
nice.
Oh no, wait, I'm sorry. I have it on Switch. I had a code from it from a while ago because this game came out, I think, last year.
Gotcha.
Or so, and I just never got to it. So now I'm just finally get to it. There's a little slowdown on Switch, but it's not too bad. It's fine. But it's a cool game. Yeah, it's on Steam if you want to check it out. Hopefully it comes to like Xbox and PlayStation later. It's a cool little game.
Shout out to, was it Doink Soft?
Yeah, Doink Soft. Yeah, it would be great Game Pass material.
Yeah, this look like one of those. And Digital Devolver, they always have their finger on the pulse of these little quality indies.
They knew, yeah, man.
They know, man. They're good. Every time I go
to
a indie event or PAX or whatever, they're there. They tend to have the highest quality indies, usually in their booths. When I would go by,
yeah,
they've always
they always got good stuff, man.
Yeah,
they know what they're doing. They are good. But yeah, not a lot I could say about it right now. Maybe when I finish it, I could say more. But it's cool. I like it.
Nice.
I recommend it.
Shout out to them.
But Cog, let's talk, man. Your old flame.
We're back together.
You cannot escape this.
You
love it.
Tower.
You love it. And a lot of people are in the same boat as you. Beloved game. Destiny 2.
Going back here.
Oh, yeah, dude. Cog, you've been playing Destiny 2. Now, Cog, I talked to Chris a little bit about this, but it's been so interesting for me as someone on the outside of Destiny. You know, I played Destiny 1 when it came out. I played some of 2 when it came out. And I've played the Witch Queen, I think. I played. That was a Destiny 2 one, right? Pretty recent, right? I played some of that. But the Destiny, when I hear from an outsider on the Destiny fan base, it is like a roller coaster of emotion, man. What's been going on? Lightfall, people were very disappointed. I've been hearing a lot of bad things about the game. However, there's been some stuff popping up. They've been talking, and people are very pleased with Destiny, with the direction it seems to be going, at least right now. Please tell me about it and why you decided to hop back into Destiny.
You nailed it, man. I mean, I think your assessment of what's been going on in the Destiny community is it's this toxic relationship where, you fall in love with it because let's be clear, and I've had this conversation with Chris. When it comes to gunplay, the way guns feel, shooting enemies, the skybox, the music, there's really nothing that competes.
Top of their class, man.
With Bungie. I'm just gonna, maybe I'm biased.
No, you're not. I agree 100% with you.
Gives me that feeling. And then the distinction of weapon design, how cool the weapons look and the abilities, is just, amazing. And for me, the thing, I came in initially to Destiny 1 as a Destiny hater. I did not understand why. I understand that gunplay and everything felt good, but I'm just, I played it like a traditional game. Oh, you just beat the story. I'm like, the story wasn't all that great. Yeah. I don't see what the big hubbub is, right? Where the light switch happened for me was when I did my first raid. They were like, Cog, you played this one, but you didn't raid. You didn't do the raid, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm level 28. I'm like, whatever. All right, I'll get to 30. Let's do this raid. And again, it's a 6-man activity where it is probably one of the most difficult content. The game does not hold your hand. It does not tell you about mechanics, secrets. And it's in my opinion, I don't want to disrespect the PC guys who play WoW. It is the best cooperative experience in gaming I have ever played. When you beat a raid with people and everyone has their own distinct job, they have their roles. It's like you guys went to war together. You survived Vietnam. That's your brother. Like, he stood on the plate. He did the commands. He did what you were supposed to do. You guys passed off the whatever mechanic they got going on. And then you guys form together. And sometimes they split you up into groups of groups of 3. Like it's just such a great experience, and it's challenging.
Yeah, it is.
It really is. So like the Destiny community has now, when it comes to the rating, they have this thing called World First where they stream it and who's the first team to beat it and stuff like that. That's become a thing in its own.
Yeah.
But back to where we are right now. So they were peaking at Witch Queen. The issue with Destiny 2 has always been, hey, this is cool, this is great, but you guys don't really give us that good narrative like you used to, like with a Halo and those compelling story. And Witch Queen, they finally solved that with a very challenging campaign and a compelling story. And they kind of flipped it without spoiling too much, where one of the enemies we've always fight is this hive race. We end up finding the truth about this race and how they came to be. And they're really not, it basically, the lore got flipped on its head in a cool way. And everybody got, was on. So we're like, all right, we're off the high of Witch Queen. Lightfall's next. Bungie's cooking, bro. And the problem with Bungie is they remind me of like a kid in school who like cruises during the marking period, like he's 55, 65, so his, C's, and you just barely getting by. But when it comes to the final exam, when their back's against the wall, they ace the final exam and they get to the next. That's Bungie. They go through this. So Lightfall, we're like, they're at their high and they drop the ball. They just pull a terrible story. And we're just like, bro, what the hell is this? This is clearly rushed. It was nonsensical and the community was back, in the doldrums. So here we are now. We know the situation with they're on board with Sony. We know that they missed their targets at 45%. And now they're in danger of their studio being taken over. Then we had the layoffs. So the Destiny community is at its lowest. No one's playing the game. All the streamers are like, F Destiny, I'm playing Helldivers now. And like, it's bad. Like, no one's playing, right? So now we know that they delayed the final shape, which was supposed to drop, I believe, in February. When it was supposed to drop.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they delayed it to June. And then on top of that, they say, okay, look, we know we delayed this. We're going to give you this other free content that they apparently made in 2 or 3 months called Into the Light, which is what's happening right now. And it's like, we're going to give you that, and then we're going to give you the final shape. So the pressure is on because people are already upset with the game. You're already mad it's delayed. We're like, Into the Light, it's going to be some free con. It's probably going to be a whole bunch of nothing burger. People were like super negative coming into it. So they had a series of streams showing what Into the Light is. Now, Into the Light is a horde mode. Now, I got to be honest with you, Brad. Like I'm come from Gears of War horde. Like I love a good horde.
Yeah.
I love setting up defenses. All right, guys, we got tripwires here. We're gonna put turrets here. We're gonna do this, and then there's just waves of increasing difficulty, right? So I'm like, all right, let me see. This is your version of horde. Now I'm not gonna say it's the most complex things. You got these little sweeper bot decoys that you could put up. You could put tripwires. You could put turrets. You could do that stuff, but it is executed well. And what I like about it, it's not just you stay in this location, things move around. They make you move off the plate to do these other special objectives, kill bosses. And then the cool thing, it culminates into about like 10 waves. And then you go inside these pyramid ships and then you fight these very challenging bosses with cool mechanics, right? So I'm like, all right, this is free.
Yeah,
Everybody
that's cool.
can play it. All right, okay, Bungie. And, the cool thing is Destiny has this history of, sometimes they call it sunsetting weapons, which is like, all right, these weapons are breaking the sandbox. They're too powerful that we made. We're going to, they apparently have now brought back all these quote unquote fan favorite banned sunsetted weapons that people are like, oh my God, I remember this from, D1. So they definitely play it on nostalgia. I'm not even going to, it's definitely a nostalgia play. But no, it's been implemented well, and the community's really taken to it. And I think where it really culminated is they had 3 great streams. They bring all the things they were going to bring it into light, the horde mode, and basically one of the best things that Bungie does outside of the raids, in my opinion, is these secret missions. Where they'll have some like random thing that one player in the Destiny community found. They're like, wait a minute, this leads to a quest line. This leads to a whole exotic mission. And it's super challenging. Sometimes it's time-based where you have to do these mechanics and things in a very short amount of time, usually 3 players. And some of the two of the best secret missions ever in Destiny history is this thing called the Whisper of the Worm and 0 Hour. These missions were outstanding. So they brought those back, reprised. So people are like, okay, this is cool. Again, free content, right? The other problem Destiny has is, me and Maddie have a discussion, is that they are terrible with onboarding new players.
Yes,
they
really
rely
bad.
way too much on Destiny YouTubers to tell you what to be doing, what should be important, and so on and so forth. And the other problem is, like, let's say, for example, Brad, you want to play. It's like, all right, bro, we can't really do the new content because you're not of power level. So we got to do things for you to grind you up, to get you up. Now it's like, nope, new player. As soon as you log in the game, here's a chest. It'll give you all this equipment, all these weapons that you'll be right at the same light as your friends so everyone can play together. So they're doing all the things that we've been bitching about for years. And now the culmination, which is Final Shape. Now, obviously, it's a lot of pressure. They have to conclude this saga of the light and dark and the traveler and all this stuff. So they showed the stream, and this is where they really, in my opinion, knocked it out the park. As a person who loves build crafting, I'm the guy that'll sit there with weapons and abilities. Okay, what's the most optimal thing, for each class to build out? That's one of Destiny's strength. But we've always said, man, wouldn't it be cool if you can, I could use the light abilities and dark ability, or just mix and match as opposed to being locked into these presets. Oh, they knocked it out the park, bro. They got this thing called Prismatic, where they are literally saying, hey, you want to combine all these abilities? Have at it. We don't even care if the sandbox gets broken. We don't care if these things are OP. We're going to let you combine Void, Strand, Stasis, whatever, knock. And we're like, wait a minute, you're listening. Then the other thing would be like, wouldn't it be cool? Destiny always has this thing. You have these exotic weapons and armor, but you can only wear one at a time. So we always say, hey, man, wouldn't it be cool if they kind of like play around with that? We weren't locked in. Oh, yeah, have at it. We're going to give you this thing called exotic class armor. We could combine exotic. So they're going balls out. Like it is, we're like, yo, this is crazy what they're doing. And then the last thing for a person, Luke Smith has been there since the very beginning. He's now what would be considered the Kevin Feige of the Destiny universe now.
Okay,
he's no longer the game director, but we haven't seen him in a while. And the last time we've seen him was when they split from Activision, because it was very contentious. And Activision said, hey, we were not satisfied with Forsaken's targets. And he was like, well, F you, we're very satisfied at Bungie. We don't care what you. So we knew that relationship was about to break. We were like, okay, Luke Smith publicly went after the shareholders and the corporate. We like, oh, this is not going to go. So to see him come out and say, hey, the Destiny saga will still continue after Into Light, it was a rejuvenation, in the community kind of thing. So they showed Into the Light. It showed well. And another thing that people have complained is, we're like, bro, we've been fighting the same enemies for years. Like, they
Yeah.
debuted a whole new faction class of the like. It looks like it's coming together. So yeah, I will say that right now the community is at its highest. Into the light, the numbers, the engagement numbers. I think they damn near doubled on Steam. I think
Wow.
at Xbox, it's in the top 15 now of players. That this game was completely dead maybe 2 weeks ago. So the community hype is there. Now they still have to land the plane narratively. They still got to execute. But for what we're playing so far, what we see, it looks like it's good. And the final thing they said, I believe this week, was that not only will you do the campaign when Into Light comes out in June, when you also have to do the raid. When you beat the raid, you'll get the conclusion of the story versus the witness, who's the antagonist.
Oh, that's like a very Final Fantasy thing to do.
Yes.
Like putting you in those big multiplayer things. Cool. Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, they've been on fire right now in the community. Like I knew it was on when my entire clan is back on and playing and doing all this stuff. So yeah, that it's trending right. We still got to see if they execute it, and they have a lot on the line, because if it does not meet targets, Sony will step in.
Yeah.
And their board will be taken over. So that's where things are right now.
Yeah, their backs to the wall right now. So yeah, we'll see what they bring. It sounds good though. Gene, how do you feel about Destiny 2? Do you want to revisit it or visit it for the first time?
Yeah, no, I was not. I wouldn't say I was huge onto Destiny, but I'm a huge Bungie guy, so I was really excited for Destiny 1 and 2, and I played Destiny 2 all the way up until Shadowkeep. Yeah, that face right there, Cog. So that's why I just like dipped out of it, and I was just like, I don't know if I can do this again. And it's just a hard game to get back into. Destiny already is like Final Fantasy 13 levels of like story, and the fact that it's like ongoing, it then like doesn't help. Obviously super fun. I've done one raid ever.
Which one, if I may ask? You remember which one?
I couldn't even tell you.
It was probably around at that time.
Yeah, it was like 7 years ago or something. It was a great experience. I loved it, but I just can't do like the MMO thing. So as a solo player, I was playing Destiny quite a bit, doing solo, doing dailies, a lot of fun. I just love the gunplay, and that's what keeps me going. But
yeah,
I don't know what it'll take to get me back into Destiny. The onboarding needs to get better. I just want it to be more of a complete experience, and right now it definitely isn't. And I've covered Destiny quite a bit. I've interviewed Luke Smith. I did not know that he was a journalist for the longest time, but he was a news editor at OneUp.com for a while. And so he was gassing up Halo the whole time, and that's how he ended up working at Bungie, which is pretty incredible. That's like me directing a Yakuza game,
that is true. Crazy. That would be the equivalent.
But yeah, it's I want to get back into it, but I think it would need to be a Destiny 3. Yeah, I think it would need to. It would need to be a reboot to get back into it.
It's to your point.
Some kind of reboot. Mm-hmm. That's what I know that's obviously what they're trying to rebuild or build up to. Let's just get the final shape out of the way, and the next era of Destiny can finally begin.
That's the rumor. That is the rumor. Project Payback. That's what they said. It's being leaked by the person who leaked everything about what Final Shape is going to be doing, and Into Light has leaked that Destiny 3 has been in development since Witch Queen. And that, it's going to be a full sequel brand, because they need a fresh start if they're going to get new players with that.
Yeah, especially, PS4 game, Xbox One game, move on.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right.
It's an old game, Destiny 1 ran on Xbox 360,
Yes, good point.
That is exciting though, Cog. Glad to hear it. Phil McCarthy wrote in, "Hey gents, this one is for our in-house Lord, or Iron Lord Cog. I put that together recently. I was like, the Iron Lord's from Destiny. And I was like,
now you got it. That's what ILP responded. Literally, we were a Destiny-only podcast. And it was funny, G, because people would come on. We'd have like an intervention. So why aren't you playing this? what could we get you to do? Like, we were trying to like coax people. It was hilarious. So then people were like, started watching the show, like, look, we love you guys, but we hate Destiny. And then they were like, "Can you talk? We like when you talk about other things." And then we opened it up into Iron Law podcast talking about other games. But it was initially a Destiny podcast that started around the Rise of Iron DLC. That's how we got
cool. That's awesome.
Oh,
lore.
yeah. Mm-hmm. I wondered about that. Yeah.
As a lapsed D2 player with many thousands of hours in the game, I fell off hard with the letdown that was Lightfall. Would you recommend Into the Light as a good place to jump back into Destiny before the final shape drops? As a lore fanatic, I know Bife will carry me through the narrative, but I've yet to feel the urge to dive back into the game itself. Has Bungie done enough to justify a mass return? Love from Limerick, Ireland. Phil.
Oh, salute. Yeah, I think Into Light is a good place because, like I said, as soon as you jump into the content, they give you I forgot, it's like this treasure trove. It's for all new players. You get it. You have your light level, your armor, everything up to speed with any person that's been grinding. So you're right then and there. And then, like I told you, this horde mode is it's called Onslaught. The rewards are some of the most powerful powerful weapons in Destiny history, and they're pretty much time gaining them week to week. So you can use all this time to kind of play catch up, get all the new stuff, get all the powerful stuff, so you're all specced out and you're ready to go. And narrative wise, look, Destiny's narrative is all over the place. We're not going to sit here and act like this is some concise, it is all it's paracausal nonsense. It's all type of stuff going on. But
that's the thing that stopped me from getting into it. It's just like, I don't know if I really like the story, man. like it's kind of all over the place. I can't really follow it. It's hard for me to focus on one thread, to care about one thing,
No, you're absolutely right. And the thing about Destiny is they have the overarching story, which is usually completed in the expansions, and then they have these seasonal content sub stories, right? That generally don't affect the bigger thing, but as a new player, one person told me the funniest thing. He said, "Cog, I try to play your game. I jump in. They force me into a cutscene. I don't know who these people are. I don't know why I'm fighting, who I'm fighting." And then he said, after that, after you beat the one mission, they'd be like, "Okay, now buy the season pass or expansion to continue this." He said, the next day I jump in, it's another one. So it's like, it's really not free to play. Destiny was free to try.
Right.
That's what it was. But to Phil's question, Into the Light being everything is free. All this stuff is available for the beginning. This is the time to get in to get totally caught up, in my opinion. If you're going to come back.
All those updates reminds me of mobile games because, Shift Up, there is the Stellar Blade to Nikke Goddess of Victory pipeline. That's a very real thing. Have you tried Nikke Goddess of Victory, guys?
I have not.
I didn't hear about it until you were talking about it.
Yeah, but you guys know what it is, right? It's
you're like anime girls shooting guns, right?
Shooting guns.
Yeah. It's basically Time Crisis, but with a focus on the booty. So every time she shoots the gun, then the butt will jiggle.
I missed Time Crisis. I love Time Crisis.
No, it's totally Time Crisis with jiggly butts. Where was I going with this?
I don't know.
I think it was maybe on.
Destiny with all the pop-ups, and so you play Nikke Goddess of Victory, and then you can't even start the game without like, hey, there's a season pass, there's a seasonal event going on, there's all these updates. You can't even start even after you install all that stuff, and I'm just trying to play the game regular like the next day. Like it still has to update. Like I can't just start the fucking game and play it.
Jeez.
So that's why, like, when you play Destiny 2, like, you get all these pop-ups, and you're like, Jesus Christ, it's over. Like, at least with Nikke or like a mobile game, or even with like a Call of Duty, you can, fuck all that noise, like whatever, I'm just trying to shoot guns.
Yep.
I'm just trying to see jiggly butts. I'm just trying to play Call of Duty, right? Whereas with Destiny is like trying to tell you, yo, the story is important right now. Here's a cutscene. Here are these characters, and we are trying our best to make this character interesting. And that's overwhelming. That's so overwhelming, It
is. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. That's always been a problem.
Yeah, and if you haven't been there for day one, it's tough. And I was there for day one, and it's still tough for me. I watch all the Baya videos. I still don't understand what the fuck's going on. I understand Dark Souls better, way easier. This shit is crazy. You know?
If it wasn't for My Name Is Bife, there's a lot of people in the community that wouldn't know what the true lore is.
Yeah. It's Vadi video for Destiny, you know. Except with Vadi, I don't need Vadi to like understand the FromSoft stories. That's fine. But with Destiny, it's just there's just way too much going on, you know, because I don't have all the content. I haven't experienced all this stuff. I've missed stuff completely, you know.
Yeah, onboarding's
the FOMO is what kills me, you know.
Yeah, onboarding's tough, man. Especially a game with a long narrative. Like, I think of Final Fantasy 14, and it's like you got to start from the beginning. Just you have to go through the expansions, unless you pay. But it's like, fuck, man. I think it's worth it to start at the beginning. But with Destiny, you can't because they just delete content.
And they pull content. That's the thing.
Yeah, so like the most memorable parts of Destiny 2, you know, it's just the beginning of the Destiny 2 campaign. I mean, I love the campaign.
Love it.
The campaign was the reason why everyone declared right at the launch of Destiny 2, Destiny 2 is way better than Destiny 1. Yep. Because the campaign was so good. It took a while before people started realizing, Destiny 2 is missing a lot of features. And then they started putting all that shit back in. And then, you know, again, just like you said, the roller coaster of the 55-65C student that pulls it off at the end, you know?
Yep.
That's exactly what Destiny been doing, where they're like, they aced the exam of having a really nice campaign, but the multiplayer was lagging. And then now they just deleted the whole campaign, and you can't even fucking play it. And my favorite songs from Destiny and Michael Salvatore and Eddie O'Donnell were in that campaign. You know, the OG songs. You know,
it's wild.
Yeah,
it's wild, man.
That's why Maddie was like, bro, until they do that, he said, I want to play these campaigns, start to finish, so I can catch up. And he's like, until they do that, he's like, you ain't telling me some of this stuff is out of the vault. I'm like, nope, you're right. He's like, then I'm not coming. I'm like, fair enough.
For whatever Destiny 3, they can't do that kind of stuff, man. You got to work something around.
Yeah, they need to. Yeah, I get that vaulting is like a solution for like the tech and the fact that like they didn't really want to make a Destiny 2. They really just wanted to make Destiny as like the ongoing platform. So a lot of it, they had to like reconfigure Destiny 2 into what they wanted. But yeah, they can't. They need to not do this again because, you know, I think the vaulting was a huge part of why so many people left, and that's why they're in trouble right now. That's why it turns out, you know, Bungie, the live service master geniuses, aren't really that smart after all. You know? they're fucking up just like everyone else. You know.
Yeah. Canceling
got the answers.
Yeah. It's just Fortnite and Roblox still. You know.
Yeah. Ruben Barrett wrote in, hey guys, question for Cog, and I'd also love to hear Gene and Brad's thoughts on it. I've never been able to get fully into Destiny 2, mainly because I didn't play the games for years after the initial release, and whenever I tried, I just had no clue what's going on. I'm really more of a solo player than an online multiplayer type, and here lies my question. Do you think it would be possible for Bungie to basically backwards engineer a massive solo FPS game from Destiny 2? Something similar to, say, Halo campaign. I feel like there's loads of people who just want to experience Destiny, but are just too far behind to even know what's going on.
That's a great question.
The thing about the campaigns is you used to be able to play through them at least by yourself.
Yep.
But maybe, how would you feel about Cog, like, kind of like a single player like raid story thing like that, so people can get the story for that at least in some way, or like bots to like Final Fantasy, they're adding in bots for some stuff for multiplayer if you just want to play by yourself. Do you think that could be a solution they could do in the future?
Yeah, look, the ability to play by yourself in these campaigns is there, and they have scaling difficulty, which is what they did with Witch Queen, which was so excellent. Like, it didn't force you. Actually, when you played with more people, you played with a full fire team, it actually, I wouldn't say it penalized you, but it scaled the difficulty up and made it tougher when you try to play it on Legendary. The reason why Witch Queen was such a success, it reminded everyone of how a classic challenging Bungie campaign would be, like Halo Legendary.
Yes.
Like, okay, this is that feel.
That's fun.
And then we get these nice cinematic beats, these good story beats, each chapter that we beat, and it built to something. It was an amazing end, and we learned about Savathun, this villain that we actually had empathy for. We're like, wait a minute, this is what's really going on with the whole situation between the Hive and the Traveler. So to his point, they could easily do this because they've been flirting. What they're doing now is, like I told you, how I like raids. they're bringing like these, it's called like Legends section of the map, right? And you just go and you can play these old raids. They're doing this thing called Pantheon where you can play all these bosses in a row and all this other stuff. So it's, the tech is there. All they have to do is say, hey, Legends campaign, you've been away. You want to know what happened in the Destiny story? Here's D1, or here's from the D2 start when Gaul came down and we lost our light. And here's every story. But just have that in a separate location so people can catch up. You can just put a node on the director map. So it's possible. It's up to them. You know, I know resources, you know, are limited and, you know, they're going to hit us with this technical stuff, but you can't have this ongoing story where people have all these gaps and have no idea how you got there or who certain characters are. One of the other things, you know, as a light spoiler is that, one of the main antagonists was part of the Vanguard, this guy named Cade Six, voiced by Nathan Fillion. An amazing character, right? Who got killed off in one of the campaigns. It's a major story beat, right? The person who killed him, right, ends up being reborn and selected by the Traveler and is now an ally. You don't have access to some of the old stuff that shows this. So if you just see this new character, you're like, what is going on? Why is this important? You see what I mean? These are the things that they just got to correct, especially if your goal is to tell, you know, this compelling, you know, narrative and have these amazing campaigns. You can't have campaigns missing is what basically I'm saying. So I agree.
It's crazy. I didn't even know that about Cade Six murderer now being a good guy. That's so insane. That's kind of like, I only recently found out that the neo-Nazi Richard Spencer, does that name sound familiar?
Yeah,
the guy that got punched or whatever, right? And he was like doing the Nazi salutes in like hotel rooms and everything like that. Now he's like a woke Democrat, you know? And now he's like defending woke politics, like on Twitter.
Yes.
I'm just like, I was like, wait, where is the Destiny 1 campaign of this? What the fuck?
In the Forsaken campaign.
You killed Cade Six, motherfucker. What the fuck?
This is how the selling point of the Forsaken. They showed a trailer of Cade Six getting murdered by Aldrin. Like, it was a selling point to buy. We're like, oh, we got to avenge Cade. We going to kill this Aldrin character. And now Aldrin is reborn. It's spoiler, but
but it's like, when did Vegeta become a good guy or whatever, or like why are Goku and Frieza working together all of a sudden?
Right.
You know, like I missed all of that. You know.
And final point, which is another selling point for Final Shape, is that Cade Six is coming back. We don't know how, we don't know when, but the person that they sent through, without spoiling, is the killer. So we will have the moment in this supposed DLC. So we'll see. We'll see how they handle it.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't mind doing some homework for a game like this. It's been going on for a long time to get caught up, but most people aren't going to want to do that. You know, the vast majority of people aren't going to want to do that. So hopefully they figure something out in the future. I don't know.
They got to figure something out.
But I like Destiny though. The armor, the swords.
Destiny is cool.
Beautiful.
I think Destiny's a cool game.
It's a cool game. I wish I liked it. I wish it was in a state that I would want to play it, you know?
Yeah, I think if I can't have that many online games in my life.
Yeah,
like Final Fantasy like 14 is just like my game right now. Or maybe WoW on the side. It's like, that's enough for me. Everyone, you got to pick your game and just like, you can't play everything. It's just the way it is.
That's the thing. Like with MMOs is really hard. I can't I can't do dailies. I can't log on to log on and do dailies. You know, I tried that with Genshin Impact too, and I was really hooked on Genshin Impact for a while. Yeah, but it's got to a certain point where it was like, I can't be playing this game once a day for 20 minutes. That fucks me up. You know, I can't do that. You know,
definitely.
Yeah, life stealers. You can only do one or two. That's it.
Yeah.
Not even one or two. I can't do any of them. You know, I can't do any online game. That's like a lifestyle that I gotta check in every once in a while. You know, that's why I'm not even playing Nikkei Goddess of Victory. I prefer. I'm glad that Stellar Blade exists. You know.
Yeah.
Final point to your point, Gene. When Destiny's bad, I'm the most productive gamer. I could finish 8 to 10 games. No, I remember when Destiny's bad, I didn't play for a whole 3 to 6 months. The amount of games and things that I finished and accomplished, I was like, oh my God, Destiny is too much. When I play Destiny, I am completely unproductive. shit for the rest of my game.
It's like drugs, man. It really is like drugs, you know?
It's a fix. It's a fix. You got to come back for the fix.
It really is a fix, you know? Once I stopped doing meth, I was like, whoa, I'm a lot smarter, you know?
So much. I'm a better productive citizen.
Look at all these things I'm doing. I got a job and everything. You know?
Look at me being responsible.
Calvin's got a job, you know?
That's real talk.
All right, this is from Kasdan Risk. Hey, Slippy Summonussies. This question is for Cog. If Bungie does indeed make Destiny 3, do you want a clean slate with a new Guardian and or gear set, or do you want to continue the continuation of our characters / stuff from Destiny 2, but in a new engine? Take care.
This is a fantastic question. They flirted with this, what I consider sunsetting, where they basically, you leveled up, and then after a while, certain weapons and armor weren't of powered for you to wear anymore. Thus, they made them ineffective. And it was controversial at the time. You know, some people were like, yo, I've earned these items. Why are you taking them away from me? You know, this is BS. And then some people were like, look, power creep is a thing. And you got to be able to balance it some way, right? So it's controversial. I have since come around on this theory. And I do think that if D3 was to happen, they do need a clean slate. I feel that there's a part of me that says, one, it has to be new, it has to be fresh. But more importantly, we need a new engine. Come on, this engine, this is with this spaghetti code that they got going on in the background. And another beef that the Destiny hardcore have is that they look at Marathon and they're jealous. Like, what do you mean? Oh, they have dedicated servers. Oh, wow, they have all these things that we've been asking for years, but the new baby gets, it's like the new kid in the household, and he is the favorite child for a minute. That's how Destiny plays, especially the PvP community, are very upset.
Yeah.
Oh, they like, bro, we haven't gotten a new map in like 4 years. What the like, dudes are mad. So now
Destiny PvP has been like a shit show for like the whole time, hasn't it?
Right.
Pretty much.
They finally now have a dedicated Destiny 2 PvP in Final Shape, and now into Light we have new maps and stuff. But it's been about a year to 2 years of no PvP content prior to this.
Damn.
And people were like, this is BS. You are literally, you're really issuing on these dudes like that play this part of the game. That's always ongoing. So yeah, I would love new engine, clean slate. It's going to be the end of the Light and the Dark saga. And I'm with Kazan on this. On this one, because I feel you have to do that. That's the new approach if you're going to make a D3 in my opinion.
How would you be able to continue things? That would be crazy.
Well, it's not a spoiler because this is in the trailers, but what they're saying is, in order to fight the Witness, we've learned the Light from the Traveler, which is the spherical thing that you see on the cover of the box. And we've been flirting these last couple of expansions with darkness powers, right? So in order to the final shape is the merging of both. So it also, from a gameplay mechanic standpoint, you're now able to merge abilities. So we can now do true build crafting like a Diablo, or like, when you take a bit of this ability, you take a bit and you make your own guard. I think that's where they're going with, figuratively and literally, with the final shape.
But like with armor and like weapons, like I feel like you would need to start all over again, right?
Yes, absolutely.
You can't start a new game with light level 400, 500, or whatever.
Yep.
Start from zero. Every other player has to build up to that. It's a little weird, especially with the way power scaling works in a game like Destiny. Otherwise you'd have to like reconfigure the whole loot system altogether. I don't think they want to do that. So.
I completely agree with you. Yep. Yeah. I think that's what they would do.
That's what I've been wanting for WoW 2. Just to reset everything. That's what I'd want. I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but that's what I want, man. Just give me the reset.
Yep.
All right, boys. Let's end the show with some questions, as we always do. If you want to send in a question to the show, head on over to patreon.com/StamMedia. A couple bucks, you could write into this show and all of our other podcasts, like the Defining Duke and Sacred Symbols, Punching Up, all that good shit. So please, consider it. All right, this is from Connor Reese. Greetings, gentlemen. I wanted to ask if any of you had plans to check out No Rest for the Wicked by Moon Studios. It's out in early access now on PC, and after playing for a few hours, I feel confident in saying that this game will be a GOTY contender whenever it releases 1.0. Thanks for reading my question. I hope you guys have a great week, Connor. So I'll just answer quickly. Yes, I'm absolutely going to play this game. I am just waiting for the 1.0, though. I know I'm going to like the game, but I'm just like, I'll just wait. Same thing with Hades. I'm just going to wait.
Yeah.
I have Hades. I have the Hades 2 technical tests, so
Mhm.
I can play it right now. I have not yet played it, and I won't. So that means I won't play No Rest for the Wicked early.
Yeah.
There, despite the fact that it's the the release schedule is going to slow down. Honestly, you could just not release a new game for all of 2024.
Oh yeah.
And I still have so much catching up to
so
do.
much catch up. Yeah,
So
much.
it's all good.
Yeah.
I still gotta unlock the other endings for Stellar Blade, so that's what I've been doing. So I'm not gonna. So why am I? Hades. I loved Hades. But I played enough of Hades, and Hades 2 does look like more of Hades. So it's like I'm not really that interested in like I need to touch Hades 2 right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Because Stellar Blade is still here, and I'm still trying to finish that.
Yeah, you're in the moment.
I'm surprised at how the fact that I still want to play Stellar Blade actually.
That's big.
Because for a while I was like, I'm a little ready for
shaky on it. You started off a little shaky, like I don't know.
It started shaky, yeah. So it's I also didn't mention the game length for Stellar Blade. It could be up to 30 hours.
Wow.
I did beat it in 20. But again, remember, I only had 5 heals left, so there were quite a bit of upgrades that I missed.
Yeah.
So now I'm going through again, and I'm basically like cleaning up and basically doing every single side quest and finding every single like outfit out there. But yeah, there's just still so much to do.
It's a lot.
I could have talked about Hades 2 right now, but I didn't. So
yeah, I played No Rest for the Wicked. Fantastic. There's still a couple of issues I had with it, but I played enough to be like, okay, I'm confident.
Oh, you played it? Okay.
Yeah, I played. I've been part of the early access. Look, it's not what I thought it was. At first, I thought it was going to be like Diablo ARPG. There's some remnants of that, but it has some Souls-like stuff. It's very slow, deliberate. There's a stamina meter. There's a parry system, sword and shield. The actual design of the world it's really beautiful. Like,
yeah.
The cinematics are absolutely gorgeous, distinct art style. The only weird thing is the creative character. They have like everybody got these elongated Popeye arms, which is a little goofy. What's funny is when you create it looks goofy, but then when you in the game, it just fits and everybody looks proportionate for some reason. But so for what I played so far, I guess the only nitpick that I would say for the Souls guys is that when you fight these challenging bosses, if you lose, you've got to kind of like harvest these resources or something to like get health to then get back into the loop. And some people do not like that part.
Oh, it's like blood vials from Bloodborne. Yeah.
Yes. And then I would say like the camera, which I don't have a problem, it's fixed, but some people don't like that aspect. So my curiosity is just how they're going to do it, because in the demo it's not co-op, it's just single at all. And it's very mostly melee focused. It's very melee focused. They had some magic stuff that was cool, but I like it so far. A lot of potential, but I'm going to wait after I played it. I'm like, okay, I got my fill. I got an idea what you are. I'll wait for full release now. I'm not going to just, waste all these hours on early access. But
yeah, it looks cool. I'm excited, but like, we'll just wait. We'll wait till it's ready to go.
You guys are good. Wait for it's ready.
All right, this is from Kyle-san. Hi, everyone. I have a question for Gene today. As a journalist, how do you feel about the spread of misinformation by creators with an agenda? If they do not consider themselves a journalist but have a large following, do you consider it to be any different than one of your peers that does not follow journalistic integrity standards? At what point should creators take accountability for playing a part in the poisoning of the well of an industry, especially when personal profit is is
Ooh, this is a complicated question.
It's a very complicated question.
I agree with you that is upsetting. Here's my thing. Here's my solution. If you are of someone of note at all, or even if you own a business, you don't get to post on social media, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. You don't get any of that. Are you a politician? No, you don't get access to social media. Oh, do you own a store? No, you don't get access to social media at all. Are you a journalist? No. Are you a video game company? No social media for you. Are you just a regular person working at the store or a clerk? Are you just a driver like one of our main listeners? You get to post. You get to make videos all day. That's it.
There you go.
That's the solution?
Yeah, but if you get famous, then you rip it away. If you get famous for posting, then you're done. No one can get famous for posting ever.
All right, I see what you're doing.
Yeah, there's no information sources. Just burn it all down. Because I don't know how to fix the information economy right now. What do you do? What do you do on the internet? What can you do? regulate it?
Yeah, all you can do is, I guess, lead by example and hope some people are inspired by it. I guess, like, I don't know, because
which is why like the phrase media literacy is always coming up so much these days, because it matters that an educated public is able to process information correctly and know where the sources are coming from, kind of compare and contrast the information to other pieces of information, and you can make your own judgment out of that. Hopefully it's a correct judgment, but until people know how to correctly assess this stuff, you're not gonna be able to do it.
No, it's almost impossible to regulate. And then
and then with AI coming out and everything,
I forgot about that.
Way more. Like that there's that selfie of Mark Zuckerberg with a beard, and he's looking like fucking Dave Portnoy.
Yes,
he looks like he owns Barstool Sports, not Facebook, right?
Facts.
But that I thought, like, oh, he's my man Zuck is looking pretty good, and he's been training, so he's been swollen and everything like that. And turns out that selfie was completely fake, and I was like, holy shit, that selfie looked really, really real. It totally got me, and I was like, oh, that's just what Mark Zuckerberg looks now. If I decided to go about my day and not care about it, then that's what I would just think,
Well.
And
Gene,
that picture still being posted like that's what he looks now.
What he look, it's still going that misinformation.
Yeah, I had no idea that was fake. I just saw that and I was like, oh, whatever. Because I don't look at Mark Zuckerberg very often. I don't think about Mark Zuckerberg, so I just saw a picture of him and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's Mark.
I was like, yeah, I guess that's Mark now.
People would hit me up. They're like, Cog, you tell me your boy, because I used to work at Meta. They were like, what happened to your boy? He did it. I'm like, that's not him. They were like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's not. I don't know who put that up, but what I saw in the conference call wasn't that.
That's not him. But he's been training, and he's been getting strong.
He does it MMA stuff.
He's been getting strong, and it's impressive stuff when I see his form and everything like that. So it's like, so I believe that he's masculinizing himself, with beard and face hair and looking a little scruffy, but no, he's still babyface, lizard face Mark. But yeah, the misinformation is even getting me now at this point.
It's tough.
Right.
Kojima was right. He tried to warn us, and
Kojima warned us. Yeah,
you don't have anything like George Sears or the Patriots to try to stop this.
The prophet, dude.
And it turns out that what Kojima was saying, that if we try to stop it, we're gonna end up like the Patriots and George Sears. And is that what we want? No.
Shout out to Lally.
So how do we fix this? I don't know. We just need to be smarter as a society, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So
good point.
All right, this is from Matt Curry. Hey, gents. I just recently began playing Final Fantasy games for the first time, starting with 16 earlier this year and now on the original FF7. As a PS Plus extra subscriber, I was stoked to see all of the 3D era Final Fantasy games available. But alas, it was recently revealed that all Final Fantasy games will be leaving the service next month. So I'm left with a dilemma. I'll likely have time for one more Final Fantasy game before they go. So my question is, should I play Final Fantasy VIII Next, or should I skip ahead to another of the PlayStation era Final Fantasy games? What is your favorite? Thanks. All right, boys. So the PlayStation era, I guess you mean PS1, so that would mean 9 or 8 only.
7, 8, or 9, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing 7 right now.
7, yeah. So
play 7 now.
So 9 is my second favorite Final Fantasy. So I would recommend Final Fantasy 9. Yeah. I think it's a little easier to get into than 8. It has the systems are a little more clear, I would say. Doesn't have the Guardian Forces, not the magic draw system. Not the level scaling, a little more straightforward, I guess. And I just love 9, so I would recommend 9, especially if that remake's coming out sometime in a year or two, maybe.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
I would also recommend 9.
9. Yeah.
8. I've grown to love 8 over the years. I hated 8 when it first came out. But it's only because I started to understand the Guardian Force, or the girlfriend system, the GF system.
Girlfriend,
and the junction system, and realizing that the game has fucking level scaling. So no matter how much you grind throughout the game,
doesn't matter.
The game's gonna keep getting harder and harder.
Yeah, so, it gets harder.
It's Final Fantasy VIII is a weird game where if you avoid fighting altogether, the game's actually easier.
I think they made some adjustments in the remastered version.
I think they did.
But I haven't played it personally, but I've heard that. So That
I
might be
haven't
worth
tried it yet,
investigating.
but ultimately, I think 9 is really good because then 9 would also help you get the understand the vibes of like even the early Final
Old
Fantasies,
Final Fantasies, yeah,
from 1 through
totally.
6,
Mhm.
and then that would be a good introduction to like Final Fantasies 1 through 6 as well. So 9
Yeah.
is probably your best bet.
Totally.
Yeah. Nah, for
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, this is from Meatball. What's up? I naturally produce energy, Brad. All right. I'm glad my friends are dead, Gene, and Lord, you're going to get pounded out, Cognito.
They never let me live that out.
I know. They're cooking us. This
They're
week
cooking.
on Sacred Symbols, Colin mentioned that Final Fantasy VII has become an all-time video game world. Do you agree, and what are some of your favorite all-times?
Hmm.
I think Mass Effect would be at the top of my list, followed closely by The Last of Us. BioWare and Naughty Dog unequivocally cooked in the early 2010s. I would say Final Fantasy VII is an all-time world. I mean, to me, it always was because it's my favorite Final Fantasy, but
That's my favorite. Yeah,
it's
I'm
super
biased.
fleshed out with a
Oh,
lot
I
going
agree.
on.
I also called Final Fantasy VII like the cast as an all-time cast too.
Yeah.
In my review
Yes.
of Rebirth, I was like, if Square Enix never beats Final Fantasy VII in terms of the cast in the world, I get it. This is such an achievement. You know?
They're definitely the most iconic for sure.
Yeah.
Iconic, memorable characters. Oh my lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other worlds, you guys? Some of your all-time favorites?
So many, man. Jesus. You stole one of mine. I was a big, Mass Effect guy. So especially one and the introduction to the system and the Reapers and all that good stuff.
Mhm.
Man, there's so many. I mean, I have to admit, if I'm playing these Fallout games right now, it's
Yeah.
gotta be me wanting to be in the
Yeah.
race. The
I think
desire.
it's Fallout for me too.
Yeah, it's Fallout because you know what Fallout is? Fallout is that thin line of reality that, you know what?
Mhm.
This could go down.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? In real life. You know what I'm saying? In a sense of, everyone has access to that nuclear button. You
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
And I think it's a reality, a grim reality that, okay, what would happen? And then obviously the elite power structure, who's getting access to vaults and who's not, and countries. I think Fallout definitely, that world is an all time. And then obviously the ghouls and the super mutants.
Yeah,
And
I live in DC
absolutely.
already. You know,
you live in DC, bro. Fallout 3 is my first game, and then
Mhm.
going to the monument. I'm like, yo, I used to go to DC all the time, like to see like how the world looks in this post-apocalyptic, grim kind of situation is something always intriguing to me. And the rads and the radiant, like all of it. Yeah, I got to throw
Yeah.
Fallout in there for sure.
It's good.
I
Definitely.
would say Fallout too because I see myself existing in the world because I mean I live in DC every day. I live in Washington DC, and I do worry that I live in the city that is the biggest fucking target in the United States,
Absolutely.
and everyone wants to fucking destroy the United States, and I just live right here. So
Yeah.
every time I walk around and I look at all these federal buildings and
Mhm.
these important people, I'm just waiting for any one of this shit to just blow up.
That's
And I'm
real.
just like, okay, we're in this now, like
Yeah.
like this time I gotta get my cat. I
Gotta get it.
gotta get a gun and just start
That's
living,
it.
Mhm.
like it starts now,
It starts now. Oh, I love it. You ready?
Pokemon.
Ooh, that's a really good
Ooh.
world, actually, Gene.
Come on,
That's a really good.
it's a world with its own logic, its own culture.
Yeah.
It's deep, it's gorgeous. But yeah, I would call Fallout also like pretty much like pretty up there in terms of like the worlds, like up there with like Middle Earth and Tolkien because it grounds us, right?
Yeah.
And then they have all like you see the Deathclaw skull. There's so many like different iconic things like in the world that have their own rules, but it's iconic and it's interesting. Yeah, like the stim packs, I just love that like they didn't have to explain stim packs at all. It's like, oh yeah, you see that and you know exactly what it does in the show. They didn't need to explain that. It's very, very easy to understand fantasy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's easy for me to think of games that have like a lot of entries in them. Like I think of the Warcraft universe, huge.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy 14, huge. Kingdom Hearts, huge. Crazy, but I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But I really think about some worlds that really stood out to me
Mhm.
are some very ones that don't have a lot to them, maybe. One world that I absolutely adored and I was enthralled by it was Shadow of the Colossus and its world and like the tribes that come through and all there. I really loved all that kind of stuff. I mean, we don't know a lot about it, but I was so into it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Bloodborne, a really fascinating universe with really cool story and all that good stuff. And honestly, BioShock, I think, is a really interesting universe.
Mm-hmm.
I think what's going on in there and Rapture and all that stuff, and even Columbia is very interesting and all the lore behind that. But yeah, there's so many great worlds, man.
What would be the worst world to try to exist in? Like the shittiest one. Just like I can't believe
I mean, Fallout would be shitty.
Fallout would be shitty, yeah. But I feel like I can make
Warhammer 40K would be the
Warhammer
shittiest.
40K would be a nightmare. Yeah.
Yeah.
Resident Evil would be so terrible too.
Yeah, Resident Evil. Being a villager in like Resident Evil Village or something.
Or just like living in any city whatsoever. Like you're always at risk for like a zombie outbreak. And the funny thing about the Resident Evil universe is that zombie outbreaks are like normal. They're routine at this point because like several have happened already. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That just sounds like a nightmare world to live in. But society still continues to go on. It never breaks down. It's just an entire city goes down, and like the rest of the world has to just live with that. You know.
Yeah. All right. Final question. This is from Brandon Taylor. Hello, Brad, Gene, and Cog. Well, I finally broke. After 4 years of holding off on buying a PS5, I had a PS4, Switch, and good PC. I finally keyed for a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That away. I couldn't wait. I did the same thing with Switch for Zelda Breath of the Wild. So my question is, what games have been system sellers for you? What console exclusives made you say, F it? I can't wait any longer. I'm buying the next-gen console for this one specific game.
Mm-hmm.
I got one right off my head. Final Fantasy VII on PS1 was when I bought a PS1.
Ooh.
I had never seen anything like that game at the time, and I was like, I gotta get in on this shit.
I don't know. It was the reason why we all switched from Nintendo to PlayStation.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
I was like, well, you Nintendo, you guys seriously lost Final Fantasy? Well, fuck it then. I guess I'm gonna buy a Sony then. You know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? That was crazy.
That
you know?
one. Yeah.
I think it was real. It was game changing at that point.
It probably was the first console that people bought like a console for the game for, you know, and because like you buy the Nintendo for the Mario, but but you never did that before, you know, and you just buy a Nintendo just to have the Nintendo, and then
especially because it wasn't a launch game or anything like that, so it came out later.
That's true. Yeah. And then with Super Nintendo, you just bought the Super Nintendo because
you're like, oh shit, Mario World, fuck yeah,
it's the next Nintendo, so of course you're gonna buy it, but then. But then to have like another system come in, because there was only that system. It was Nintendo, and then Genesis. I guess people bought Genesis for like the Mortal Kombat Blood or whatever like that. But then PlayStation had Final Fantasy VII, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Had that. So many, man.
Every console I bought it for a specific console.
Specific game. Same, yeah.
I can name all of them easily right now.
Me too. I was going through. What's yours, G?
So PS1 is Final Fantasy VII. PS2 is Metal Gear Solid 2.
Ooh.
PS3 is Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh yeah.
PS5 was Demon's Souls remake, right? Just a launch game right out of the gate. Xbox was Halo.
Halo for sure.
Sega Dreamcast was for Shenmue.
I was a Shenmue.
I needed Shenmue. I was like, I've never seen a video game like this, a virtual fighter like RPG.
RPG, and kind of the pick shit up of open world.
You can go into any house, an open world. We've never seen anything like that before. I needed Shenmue was like the next level for me, so I needed Dreamcast. Xbox One, the very first Xbox was Halo. Xbox 360, Halo 3.
Halo 3, okay.
And Xbox 360 was really Oblivion, actually.
Ooh, Oblivion was so good.
Because people don't know, but my first Bethesda game was Daggerfall.
Oh, okay, an older one.
Wow,
that's why I like Starfield so much. Because people were hating on the procedural generation, and I'm just like, I'm glad Bethesda is back on their procedural generation and bullshit. I'm just feeling like one of the few people who were like, yes, the same shit over and over again. This is awesome. You know? It's so sick. It's great. You know,
hilarious.
So that's why when Oblivion was showcased, I was like, oh my god, dude, this is next generation right here. This is true next generation. So I needed it for Oblivion. Xbox One, you might be surprised at this one.
Which one?
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh,
really?
okay.
It took you a while
because it took me a long time.
Because you got the One X, you got the Scorpio.
Because I never bought Xbox One, but once I heard that the Project Scorpio had 4K Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was trying to play on the PS4 Pro, and it was like playing it in like dipped in Vaseline. It was crazy. I was like, PlayStation owners, I can't believe you played Red Dead Redemption 2 in that way, because the ghosting was everywhere. It was crazy, man. So the Xbox One X, I finally bought back into the Xbox ecosystem thanks to Red Dead Redemption and the promise of power. And with Xbox Series, it was Halo Infinite. What other consoles were there? I guess that's it, right?
Yeah. You nailed it. Yeah.
Let's hear from you, Cog.
So many. PS1, obviously Final Fantasy. I had hood dudes picking that thing up, talking about they know what a JRPG was, but they was there for that Final Fantasy and that cloud. They was there. And I remember showing them the first summon, and they were like, "Oh my god, what is that?" Like it just blew them away. Leviathan, Ifrit, and all that stuff. So that
all the jocks loved like Final Fantasy VII. That's why it was the breakthrough JRPG. That's why it was the breakthrough JRPG, because like everyone was looking at it as like, holy shit, what kind of video game is this?
That's what I keep trying to tell. Look, I know the purists, the Final Fantasy VI guys, get all mad when I say, but look, I said Final Fantasy VII changed the culture, brother. You just got to accept it. We love
changed the culture.
The six guys get back. I'll be talking. But anyway, first one, Halo, Xbox OG. Never seen anything like that. Console, first person shooter, and then the AI of it. 360, Gears of War.
Oh, yeah.
Mad World trailer, and seeing that level of graphics in a game was just like, what is happening?
It was the first time I heard of Unreal Engine.
Yes.
Which was Gears of War 3 or Gears of War with Unreal Engine 3. And they were really, really pushing that. And it was like, oh, this is the first time I heard of like an engine and Unreal.
Yes.
I mean, I heard of Unreal Tournament, and I knew that Unreal was worked on for Unreal, right? I didn't know like, oh, you can just like, this is a whole thing, and they're making this whole new game that's violent, that's like Unreal but third person. Sick,
I had it when we had Cliffy B on, and I had to tell, I was like, bro, that you guys changed the game with that one. Swamp, chainsaws, the visceral nature. Yeah, so that Xbox One, I'm surprised people. The game that made me more, even though they had the worst conference with the TV, but the people forget about the games conference that they had after that. Like, of course correction. And they had the game that did it for me was Rise of the
Hell yeah! I knew you were going to say that shit.
I said, yo, look at the Centurions. I'd never seen graphical fidelity like that. To me, it was a true showcase of power. Now, granted, it was a lot of QTEs and stuff going on.
They were good, though. They were good QTEs, though.
Yes, it looked amazing. I was like, I'm picking up that Xbox One day one for that. And I still didn't get my damn sequel, but whatever.
One of the first games I bought after Redemption 2 was Rise. I was like, yo, I've been waiting to play this joint for like years, man.
Years. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That and Sunset Overdrive. I was so excited to get both of them. I was like,
that's what told me on an Xbox One.
Are here. I can play them now, and they're good.
Sunset Overdrive is what did it for me to buy an Xbox One. I didn't get one at launch, but soon after, I was like, I'm going to get one for that game.
Absolutely. And then,
oh, go ahead. Yeah, keep going, Todd.
I'll final finish. Series, it was kind of like, it was nothing that long. I just bought it. I can't remember. I just got it. I was like, I'm I got it. It was really nothing at launch. I can remember. I think I played Yakuza.
That's what I got. Yakuza was the game I got for it, too.
There was fucking nothing at launch for the Xbox Series, man. There was fucking Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, you're right. It was Valhalla.
That's all we had. I did play Valhalla mostly on the Xbox series.
Yeah, I actually got into the Yakuza series because of that. I was like, it was like
that's right. Like a Dragon was exclusive for a while. That was crazy.
Yeah,
the next gen version was
next gen version. Yeah,
that's why I bought it.
Yeah, because it was only on PS4 for a while. Yeah, so weird.
Yeah, what you call it? Final Fantasy, PS2, Tekken Tag.
Tekken Tag,
yes. PS3, I got super late. I think it was Last of Us. I was just like, all right.
That's really,
I'm really. I had it at launch, but I didn't remember any specific game that made me.
You just had it.
I just had it because I was more of a 360 guy. I'm just going to be honest. And then what sucked is people don't remember the Bethesda ports were terrible on PlayStation.
So bad. So
you couldn't even play Oblivion and all that stuff really well. So that became my default console. And I had the old Farm and Grill one. So that PS4, damn, it was so many good stuff. I would say towards the beginning, honestly, it was probably the ports were just better. I think Battlefield 4 was like 1080p, whatever. And I think I had Resogun. I can't remember. It was probably another game, but that's pretty much, all for me. But what about you, Brad? I've been talking for.
Well, for like systems, I mean, I just had NES. We just had it when I was little. Super Nintendo, I remember I wanted for Zelda. I got mine a little later too. I was pretty young still too. Ours came with Zelda instead of Mario. In 64, I just bought because Nintendo, and Mario 64 was just godlike.
Godlike
game, dude.
Wrestling games was god tier on 64. I remember that.
And PS1, obviously like you guys. GameCube. So all the Nintendo stuff I pretty much just bought.
Yeah, I totally forgot the Nintendo.
I just bought it when they come out. Usually Nintendo stuff. I didn't buy the Wii U right when it came out though, but I bought it like a couple weeks later because I was like, I'll just get it. It's fucking Nintendo. I'll get it.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Nintendo because I just buy the Nintendo consoles.
I usually just buy those. Most of the time I do with everything now, but
I did buy the each system for certain games though. So let me finish that out real quick.
Go for it.
Nintendo 64. I never owned a Nintendo 64.
Damn!
Wow!
I didn't buy it for Ocarina. I didn't buy it for Smash. I didn't buy it for any of that
Mario
stuff.
64, bro.
Mario 64. I didn't play it. That came out in an era where I was kind of dipped out of video games for a bit.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't play Metal Gear Solid 1 until like 2-3 years later, and I was like, "Yo, video games are like this now." Like Metal Gear Solid 1 was like a huge jump in like quality for me. Where I played Resident Evil 1, which had like terrible voice acting, and then I played Metal Gear Solid 1 with incredible voice acting, cinematography. So that was huge for me. But Nintendo 64, I never owned. GameCube, I bought it for Metroid Prime.
Oh, good one.
So
Metroid
good.
Prime. I knew that I wanted the Zelda, but when Metroid Prime came out, I was like, okay, now it's time to get a GameCube. Let me buy into this. Nice. And what came out? Wii. I bought the Wii on the first day before Twilight Princess. Right?
Yeah, obviously.
And also it was the Wii. Like it was the Wii Sports. It was interesting.
Cultural phenomenon.
The Wii U I did not buy right away. I bought it when Bayonetta 2 finally came out. So I actually bought Wii U for Bayonetta 2 specifically.
That's a good one.
And for the Switch, it was
Zelda.
Zelda, bro. I saw that Zelda. I was tears running down my face. I was like, oh, I got to get this. They brought an emotional feel. And I'm a Sega kid. And I was like, that looks amazing. I'm getting Switch day one. I knew Switch was going to be successful. People laugh, who's going to want this? I'm telling y'all. I said, it's going to work. I'm telling y'all.
Yeah. With, so in 64, then GameCube, I got that launch with Mario or Luigi. I should have got Rogue Squadron, but Luigi was still fun.
Rogue Squadron for GameCube,
yeah. I tell you, I never got them, but I always wanted them. I just didn't have the money for them at the time. When I was younger, had to make choices, with consoles. Couldn't have everything. So I wanted an Xbox when it wasn't Halo, actually. It was Ninja Gaiden that came out.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, shit.
Remember when the Xbox had Japanese exclusives that were fire?
Yes. What's my man name that made that game? What's my man? G.
Oh, yeah.
He was a rock star.
Yeah,
Gaki. What?
Yeah.
I think it had him on stage or something. I was like, oh. Okay.
Yeah, that was the game. And I actually got a 360 for Tales of Vesperia.
Wow.
Another Japanese game.
Wow.
That's when I was like, with Microsoft, you get Japanese games, I'll buy your shit, dude. That's how you get me, boy.
That's what's up.
That's how you got me. And PS2, I got relatively early. There was like nothing really out when I got my PS2, I remember. I just bought it because it was fucking PlayStation 2 and had a DVD player. I was like, oh, shit.
Facts.
And I was like, well, I know Squaresoft's going to be on this. Final Fantasy will be on this down the line. PS3 I got later. I got it for Little Big Planet, actually. I loved Little Big Planet. I thought it was so fun.
Dude, I love Little Big Planet 1, man.
Yeah, I loved Little Big Planet 1. I thought it was so creative and all that stuff. And of course, Metal Gear was on the horizon. So I was like, well, yeah. No brainer.
Little Big Planet had on the soundtrack probably one of my favorite bands of all time, Cafe Tacuba. Have you guys heard of them?
Never heard of them.
They were on the soundtrack for it was a Day of the Dead festival level on Little Big Planet 1.
Oh, cool.
But really, really great indie band. They're basically like the Radiohead of Mexico, but like even more experimental than Radiohead. And then just to hear them on like fucking Little Big Planet was just amazing. I couldn't believe it.
That's so cool.
Unforgettable.
Cog, I wanted the Dreamcast, but I never got it because I didn't get Dreamcast because a couple of my friends had it, so that helped. And I knew PlayStation 2 was coming. So I was like, shit. But dude, when I saw Sonic Adventure, that like blew me away the first time.
Yeah, man.
When that came out, dude, went to Mike Huber's house, played that shit. It was amazing. I was like, holy, I loved the Dreamcast. I never had it, but I loved the Dreamcast.
When the whale is chasing you, come on, man. You've never seen anything like that before.
It was so
cool.
How old were
you when you were at Mike Huber's house playing Dreamcast? Holy shit, dude.
1999. I was like 12.
Wow, you were 12 years old at Huber's house playing Sonic Adventure.
Well, I've known Huber since first grade.
Yeah, but that's insane, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were playing that shit back then. Yeah. I was watching him play Shenmue and stuff.
Ooh, yeah. For me, it was Shenmue and Soul Calibur. Those were the two.
Oh, my God. Soul Calibur 1 is so sick. Dude, Soul Calibur 1 and 2 were like moments in time, man.
I've never seen graphical. When I saw the katas, and I was just like, yo, what is happening? This is a next level
60 frames per second.
60 frames, yes.
Yeah,
frames per
gorgeous.
second. We had that shit back in the day,
bro.
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, we had Peter
Soul
Moore.
Calibur 2. The Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube, though, man. Come
on.
Oh
my God, showpiece.
Showpieces.
Beautiful. But yeah, I think everything else I've just been buying as they come out. Because we're enthusiasts.
Yep.
We just want to play the games, so we're there nowadays.
Yeah, but it is surprising how many of my consoles I bought because of one game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like
totally.
I bought into it because of one game, and it was as recently as fucking Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah, that's all it takes, man.
If you have the best version of certain games,
absolutely,
you can sell shit. And that was what was so infuriating to me to hear like all this talk about great games don't really sell consoles. That was like, that wasn't to me, man.
I remember that. That was Phil, right? Who said that?
Oh, I personally. I use one of my powers. I rarely use it. I reached out to Phil directly and we spoke. And I was like, look, I think I understand what you're trying to say, but I said the context sounds terrible because it makes it seem as if you don't care about great games. And I know that's not the case. So I was like, I just didn't like the way that was verbalized at all. He's like, Cog, I hear you. I respect your, where you're coming from. And he totally got what it is. And then actually at the showcase, I took it as him commenting on that statement I said to him, and he was like, I kind of misspoke and said some things, because it was during the Redfall thing, and everybody was coming at him, kind of thing, and he kind of he alluded that he may have misspoke, and great games are important. I'm like, you can never say that
the games.
One game can't change things. It can. We just talked about these games make us buy these particular platforms just for that one game. And to hear you say, Brad, was it Tales of Vesperia for 360? That is amazing to me, right? Because most people, you think, that's the game that got you.
That's the game that got me. Yeah,
that's why it's important to have like a variety of things that are exclusive to what you have,
your platform.
To your platform.
If you want them to be on that platform, you got to give them a reason.
Yeah. Absolutely. Great. Persona's on Xbox. I played Persona 4 like 10 years ago.
Yeah. It's like a nice thing to have.
It's nice to have. Yeah.
It's like great, but it's not going to like people that probably were super interested in it probably bought.
I've already played it. But I look at something like, what is it, Capcom's doing, the Tales of the Goddess or something that Xbox have?
Kurosurigami. Yeah.
There you go. Yes.
What I'm talking about.
That's how you build IP. It's going to take a long time, but it's going to, just work on it, man.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not Xbox exclusive, though.
It's not exclusive, but like
Game Pass. It's Game Pass. That's what it was.
Yeah,
it was Game Pass. Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah, totally. You got to be aggressive, man. Get them on your console. Absolutely. I know everyone wants to hug and hold hands about games, but it's like it's fucking business, dude. You got to be cutthroats.
So Fizzant, the stealth action espionage game coming out from Kojima, that's going to be exclusive to PlayStation and published by PlayStation.
Yeah,
that guarantees me that I'll buy a PlayStation 6. 1000%.
Absolutely. Kojima, man, ultimate mercenary is called.
He's the mercenary right now. He got OD. Was it for Xbox?
What project could guarantee me that I buy the next Xbox? I guess the next Halo, but
Yeah. Well. Halo, I don't know. I guess we'll see. Crazy times ahead.
Anyway, sorry for console warning.
Oh no, dude.
You good? Get your balls
on. Good. All right, boys. That's gonna do it, though. Another show in the books. Cog, Gene, thank you both for joining me. I love talking to both you, so it's awesome.
4-hour episode with just us
three.
Yeah, just us three. I know. I'm getting into the mold now with the rest of our shows. We go long. That's just the way it is at LSM. That's just how it is. But please, listeners, if you've not checked out Defining Duke, please do. Cog's Xbox podcast, Mr. Matty Plays, good guy. And of course, Punching Up with Gene on there. You got Micah, Dustin on there. Nintendo podcast. We got all your bases covered.
And read my review for Stellar Blade today.
Yes, that's right. Check out Gene's reviews. Check out his works on Washington Post. Check out Cogs on ironlords.net. That's what it is.
Lordsofgaming.net.
Lordsofgaming.net. That's right. Check his workout of his team over there. We got you covered for your gaming news, so please, we'd appreciate it. But yeah, thank you, boys, for joining me.
Love.
And we'll see y'all next time. Have a good one, everybody. Goodbye.
Peace.
Summon Sign is a product of Last Stand Media and Colin's Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show is written and hosted by me, Brad Ellis. The show is produced by Dustin Furman. All of Last Stand's theme music is by Ramon Narvaez. Summon Sign, along with the rest of Last Stand's media shows, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest tier, and we are grateful for your kind contribution and generosity to our independent endeavor. Thank you.